Giants. All right, now the Giants' turn to try and answer. And here's Saquon Barkley. And he's off to the races. The 30, the 20. Saquon for 6. Deep to right field. Oh, baby. Put it on the scoreboard. The kid has done it again. Jordan. Open. Chicago with the lead.
Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good evening. Welcome, everybody. Shout out to the LSM Mod Squad, man. Welcome to the Lewis Sports Network. Basketball commentary with my main man, D, the Godfather Jefferson. We got the Utah Jazz versus the Denver Nuggets, Game 7 of the first round playoffs. Welcome to another live stream. Can't wait to give you this basketball live commentary. And as always say, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to hit that subscribe button for both channels. Make sure you guys are sharing this on your social media platforms. And again, salute to the chat. Shout out to G Money. He says Celtics overcome a 12-point third quarter deficit to go up 2-0. He says Smart, Tatum, and Kemba in the fourth were huge. What is good, Jay? What is good, Brandon? Appreciate you coming through. Shout out to as well. Let's see who else is here. Shout out to my man Jay is in here, man. Shout out to Edwin. That's right. Your Celtics are up 2-0, man. So let's go. And so, my man D, man, how is everything going with you, my man? Are you excited getting ready for this do-or-die Game 7 between the Jazz and the Nuggets?
Bro, I am excited. You know the Denver Nuggets since last year, fam. You know when we was on He Knows the Sports, I was telling everybody, Denver Nuggets, the dark horse team. Now they got Jamal Murray back, and he has shown up. This game is a Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell show. I do believe whichever one of these two guys play better, that's the team is going to take the whole thing.
That's a great point because it's whoever has pretty much been the better player in terms of the more impactful player with their scoring in these big scoring games has actually won this game. Before we get started and continue on this game as they're getting ready to do the game, shortly. The Boston Celtics just went up 2-0. I was actually watching the game while I was setting up, guys. The Toronto Raptors are in big trouble. You could clearly see it in Jayson Tatum was huge, 34 points. But the difference maker while the Raptors went up in that third quarter, the thing was the game was pretty close. But Marcus Smart changed the fourth quarter. He had 15 of his 19 in the fourth quarter, I believe. I think it was 15, but he had 5 threes. And those made a huge difference in the fourth with his defense. And now Toronto's got to figure out what they're going to have to do to get back in the series, or if not, they're going to be out. And the Boston Celtics will go to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 2 years. So what are your thoughts on the Celtics going up 2-0, D, man, before we get started on this game?
That was a huge win for the Boston Celtics, and it really puts the pressure on the Toronto Raptors. G Money was over there with me on the prediction show. And my partner in our gun rights, we kind of went split. He was like, take Raptors on the money line. And I said, take Boston on the points because the Raptors were favored. And I just figured the Boston Celtics, guys, if we pay attention to the Boston Celtics and the Raptors, and I said this the other day, sometimes you have teams that just has a team's number. Or you may have that coach that just has that other coach number. I wouldn't necessarily say that the Toronto Raptors are a worse team or Boston's a better team. It's just that team, it appears to me, has that number. When you look at them prior to the postseason, Boston split the difference. And then prior to the layoff, Boston split the difference. Then after the layoff, they haven't beaten Boston. They didn't beat them during the bubble, and they haven't beaten them in these first 2 games. So could it be that the Toronto Raptors are as talented as they are, but the Boston Celtics and Brad Stevenson has their number? They have the Raptors number. It could be that.
And I also, when I look at this team, I honestly think that the issue that you see with Toronto, and you were seeing it, OG Anunoby had 20 points, but so did Pascal Siakam. Pascal has not led the Raptors in scoring, I believe, at all during the bubble or in the playoffs. He struggled even in the 4-game series against Brooklyn. And when Kyle Lowry or Fred VanVleet or Serge Ibaka or OG Anunoby are leading your team in scoring, that can be a problem. And it's starting to show in this series. It's showing that the Raptors, they don't have a go-to guy. while and the thing is, I feel like Boston, in a sense, to me, Marcus Smart with his impact, his leadership has been huge. Then on top of that, you have Jayson Tatum. He's a go-to player, and he's showing you. He had 34 points in this game. No Raptors scored more than 20 points other than 2 players. So I think I just think the Celtics have a better overall team talent-wise. And then also Marc Gasol is a liability. He only played 21 minutes in this game, which tells you that Daniel Theis, with his athleticism and his speed, it's going to give Marc Gasol problems. And Marc Gasol does look a little out of shape. So there's a disadvantage there too. So, that's a big problem. So I look at overall, I think the Celtics, not only do they have their number, but I feel like some of these matchups don't favor the Raptors at all.
Right. And a lot of people thought that when Gordon Hayward went down, that, the Celtics were in big trouble. But I knew, I kind of had an idea what Brad Stevenson was going to do, and I spoke on this as well. See, Samuel Olivi, he's not going to bring y'all the offense, but he's defensively inclined, and then you slide Marcus Smart in there. It's almost as if you don't miss a beat with Gordon Hayward being gone. Almost, because Marcus Smart is not the offensive player, but he adds that defensive edge. You understand? And then if he has to rest, you got Olivi that can come in there. Semi can come in there with that defensive edge. So Boston looking pretty good in this series, man.
No, they are. And if the Raptors don't find a way to figure out because the Raptors' issue, in my opinion, in game one, they got blown out. Their issue was their perimeter defense, allowing the Celtics to penetrate to get their open threes. The Raptors, I think they went one for their last, 14 from the three-point line. So they got to find a way to hit their three-point shots. But also the Celtics have done a good job keeping the Raptors out of the paint with their guards. So Van Vliet and Kyle Lowry really haven't been able to get into the paint like they were able to against the Brooklyn Nets. And I said once they go against Boston, it was going to be a better team. Check this out, D. The 4 teams in the East are all in the top 10 defensively overall. Like when it comes to if you want to look at statistics, how they play defense, like all of them are in the top 10. So it lets you know that the Raptors are playing better competition now with Boston. And I just think matchup wise, it's a problem for them, especially because now Ibaka has to start. And then even when Marc Gasol comes off the bench, he doesn't really have the foot speed. And he at this point is not only a bench player, but he's not really able to provide much. And like I said before, he only played 21 minutes in this game. So that to me, that is another liability for for Toronto, at least in that big man spot at the 5.
Yeah, okay. Something's wrong with my live, bro. I'm not live for some reason. All right. Let me fix that. There we are. All right, I wasn't even live, fam. But I am now. So, man, they got to get this game started. I'm so ready. How's your stream good, Lewis?
Yeah, my stream is fine. They're just they're showing the preview between Mitchell and Jamal Murray, so the game is about to start pretty soon. They're just showing the preview for the game.
Oh, we're in the same spot then.
Again, guys, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this on your social media platforms. Giving you Utah Jazz versus the Denver Nuggets, do or die game 7. Mitchell, I got to say this also, D, man, and I think you would agree with me when I say this. When you look at the way that Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray have been playing, it just shows you that the league is in great hands with some of the young stars we have in the NBA. Wouldn't you agree?
No, I agree. I definitely agree with that big time. The league, when you talk about the Luka Doncic, the Trae Young, the John Morant, the Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell, the league is looking great, man. So much talent. And look at the guys coming out in this next draft class. I mean, bro, we have a lot of exciting basketball. And I hate to say it and pick on LeBron James, but for all of you LeBron James fans, his days are numbered, buddy. His days are numbered. There's too much talent in the league. He had the advantage of stacking the deck at one point, but you can't really do that anymore. because there's so much talent in the league that they can stack right along with you, LeBron. And, once you don't have that advantage of a stack deck, I mean, let's be honest. LeBron don't have that advantage, then he's going to lose. What happened when the Golden State Warriors stacked the deck with him? They had an equal amount of talent, and he couldn't win. So I think if LeBron James and the Lakers don't clean it up this season, that might be it for LeBron James because there's too much young talent in the league right now.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we're getting ready to start. D, you could obviously take away the call if you are all set. And they just showed the starting lineups for both teams. And, we're getting set for the opening tip. This is Game 7. Man, this would have been great if there was fans in an actual arena in Denver. This would have been awesome. But you got to start with the virtual fans in the bubble. All right, so here is the opening tip. And the Utah Jazz get the ball.
And here comes Ingles. Ingles will bring the ball, gives it to Conley, back to Ingles. Ingles goes over the top to Gobert in the corner. And back up top to Ingles for three. And Ingles drains the three. So Utah start off fresh. And got both teams shot at 50% from the line in the last game, going 18 for 36. Both teams the exact same number. Here comes Jokic. Jokic gives the ball to Murray. And Murray tries to get it back to Jokic, but nice hand by Gobert to break up that pass. Conley coming down with the ball, kicks it to Ingles. Ingles drives down in the lane and a quick 5-0 run for the Utah Jazz to start this game. So take it away, Lewis.
Monte Morris with the basketball, coming left side of the floor, gives it to Nikola Jokic, who then gives it right to Jeremy Grant, gives it to Jokic, right side of the floor. He was open for a second, but Gobert came to recover. Faces a light double, pump fakes, tries to go through, steps through with the footwork, and he scores for the first points for the Nuggets. 5-2 is the score. Here comes Mike Conley, right side of the floor. Brings the ball up right to the middle, being guarded by Monte Morris. Gives it to Royce O'Neal, sets a screen for Mike Conley, gets another screen from Rudy Gobert, gets another one, goes all the way to the middle, tries to put it up with the right hand. I thought it was a lob, but he misses the shot. Anyway, Nuggets get the basketball. Here comes Jamal Murray. We'll be checking the chat pretty much in a few on a stoppage of play. Jamal comes off a screen, being guarded by Mitchell. Gives it over to Jeremy Grant for three, and he drains it and ties the game at 5. Take it away, D.
All right, so Jeremy Grant, they're going to need him and make sure that he steps up. So here comes the Utah Jazz with the ball. Ingles. Joe Ingles at the top with the ball, hovering around that three-point line, kicks it to Conley across the court. Here comes Conley back over to Joe Ingles for three, and Ingles can't hit. Monte Morris comes down with the rebound. Morris will bring the ball down from the Denver Nuggets. Gives it to Jokic at the top of the key. Jokic over to Jamal Murray. Murray back to Monte Morris. Over in the corner to Grant for three, but he can't hit. Ingles comes down with the rebound. And it looks like Jokic just kind of pushed Gobert on the ground. Get down there, buddy. So Ingles at the top of the key with the ball. Over the top to Gobert. Gobert gets tied up. Donovan Mitchell with the touch pass to Conley. Back inside to Gobert for the dunk. Nice ball movement by the Utah Jazz. Monte Morris back with the ball to bring it down for the Denver Nuggets. Monte Morris at the top. Conley on the defense. Gives it to Jamal Murray. Dribbles around the Jokic string. Jamal Murray brings it back out top. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Murray takes it down inside. Murray right to the lane. Murray scores. 7-7. Tie game. Take it away, Lewis.
All right. Tie score 7-7. 9 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Here comes Donovan Mitchell. Brings it right to the middle. Ingles gets a screen. Goes left, and then he goes right. Faces a double team in the corner, and then gives it up to Donovan Mitchell. Donovan with a zip pass, but it was a terrible, good interception by Monte Morris. The Jazz turn it over. Here come the Nuggets on the break. Monte Morris. Oh, nice pass inside to Paul Millsap. Clears bodies, uses that body, and just bangs in for the score. 9-7 is the score. Here comes Mike Conley coming on the left side of the court. Back for the Jazz. Tries to fake. Go. He can't. Nice bounce pass to Gobert inside. Gobert with the hook. He shot it a little too fast, and it'll be Denver Nuggets basketball. On that possession, 3 possessions ago with the Jazz, I love how they touched the ball. That's what they got away from in Game 6, and they just went Donovan Mitchell ISO all throughout the end of the game, and it cost them because they got stagnant. But if they pass the ball like that effectively, the Jazz will get good shots. All right, here's Jokic with the lob inside the Grant. Good position by Grant, but he can't. He overshoots on the layup. He misses. Here back come the Jazz. 9-7 is the score. Denver up by 2. Ingles drives to the middle, goes all the way, shoots it with the opposite hand, but he can't get the roll. Rebound to Nikola Jokic. Jokic brings the ball up. Wow, he can move for a big man. Gets it to Millsap. Millsap a little out of control, and he gets called for the offensive foul. So the Utah Jazz will get the ball back. Take it away, D.
All right, guys. So the turnovers, you got to watch these turnovers. The Denver Nuggets, although they won last game, guys, they had 22 turnovers. So they're probably going to want to keep holding the ball. And Rudy Gobert tries to go inside, and he has Jokic there, so he tosses it to Ingles, but too far, too high for Ingles, and another turnover by the Utah Jazz. So Monte Morris with the ball out on the wing, gives it to Jokic. Jokic at the top of the key. Jokic kicks it over back to Morris. Morris, my screen just froze up, guys, for a second.
Me too.
Hey, network. So, yeah, but like I was saying, man, they're going to have to take care of that ball because it's a blessing that they won that game with 22 turnovers. You don't want to be committing 22 turnovers against a team that got a guy who can put points up like Donovan Mitchell. Find yourself in a big hole really quickly.
All right, let me see if I'm good.
Brandon Nicholson in the building. Appreciate you coming through, Brandon. Alistair. Oh my gosh, D, I'm fucking scared. Yeah, buddy. You better be. Them doggone Celtics. I told you, Alistair, the Celtics got your boy's number, man. You thought I was joking? I won't hate, and I've been supporting the Toronto Raptors, but just seemed like they might got your boy's number there, Alistair. Dr. Mario, what's up with you, my brother? He said, pay me for the heat, son. We're going to the finals. You said it, Dr. Mario. Your team looking good, buddy. They looking good. Jayson Tatum, Duke. Yeah, man. It's a lot of Duke players in the league doing well right now, too. Jayson Tatum could change the NBA teams, but he's forever a Duke Blue Devil. Yeah, I think Tatum is just going to get better and better and better. You know, that's what I'm seeing at Jayson Tatum. Just like constant improvements in this guy.
Is your screen coming back?
Mine isn't. I'm still working on it. I'm getting ready to switch to another.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do because it's not.
Yeah, they're playing games, so. well, only game we out. I'm going to Buff because the only game we trying to play is this Denver Nuggets Utah Jazz.
Oh wow! Let me see if this works.
All right. Let's see here. All right, I'm good. I'm on Buff. I'm good. All right, guys, we are back in action. All right, 15-9. All right, Joker at the top of the key with the ball. Gives it over to Grant. Grant comes down in the corner. Back to Joker. Joker thinks about the three, doesn't take it, gives the ball off to Murray. Murray takes the jump shot inside and drains it. 15-9, Murray is on fire, guys. So I think my stream, I have to switch, guys. I have an issue, but it's a little bit behind the scoreboard. But we'll keep you guys still posted with the play-by-play action, baby. You back up, Lewis?
Yeah, I'm back up. I'm like already on commercial break. So let me just.
All right. Did you go? Were you still on the first one we was on?
No, I'm on a different one.
What, the Bila?
Yeah, huh?
Okay, that don't work for me for some reason.
But sometimes it's hit or miss. Sometimes it'll be updated, and then sometimes it'll be behind. So it depends. But right now it's already on commercial break. So.
Okay. Well, I think they might be ahead. It ain't really a problem. Okay, so I'm off commercial break. Are you still on commercial break?
I'm still on commercial break.
Okay, the first one is back up and running, so we off commercial break there. I think that was like the first one is in line with our scoreboard. It's even up with the scoreboard, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's see if it works now.
Yes, pretty solid for me right now.
Okay, I'm back on. I'm back to the first one.
Yeah, good. Yeah. They over there on the timeout right now, guys. We're sitting on the timeout. Nate McMillan, yeah, it's Nate.
I see the difference though. One of them is actually going to stay within it's like no commercials sometimes, and then the other ones will have it. So it just depends.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my bad, Ron. He said, "What's up with the scoreboard?" I just forgot to I forgot to refresh it. That's what it was. So when I had put the scoreboard up, so I just did that. So now it's all good. Man, look at these numbers, guys. 38 points for Mitchell, 34 for Murray. Both of them are shooting 50+%, 55, 55, 95. Look at those splits. And Murray's at 59, 57, and 91 from the line. That's incredible efficiency from both guys. 50, 50, 90. I don't know if that's ever been done in a playoff series before. Salute to Logan. Salute to Ron. Salute to the other Jay as well. So salute to you guys. Salute to Logan as well. Appreciate you guys being here.
All right. Back in action, guys. Ingles at the top. He with the ball. Gets it over the top to Gobert. It's out for the easy dunk. He lost Paul Millsap on the defense. Paul Millsap got behind him. And Gobert goes in for the easy dunk. So the Denver Nuggets will bring the ball down. Monte Morris with the ball. Got Clarkson on the defense. Gets it over to Paul Millsap. Millsap gets it to Jeremy Grant on the wing. Grant inside to the Joker. Joker has Rudy Gobert on the defense. Joker backs down Rudy Gobert. Goes inside. Joker with the scoop layup, but he'll pull the foul on Rudy Gobert. So Nikola Jokic will go to the line for two. And Gobert's complaining, saying he had his hand up, but you were moving your feet, big fella. These guys kill me, man. They give you a clear foul, and then you sit there and act like, I didn't do anything. It's like everybody in prison. Hey, I'm innocent. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for real.
Foul, buddy. Oh man, Duck Banks in the building. What's good with you, Duck?
What's good, Duck Banks?
My brother.
Yeah, long time no see. Shout out to my man Doug Banks. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all go subscribe to Doug Banks' channel. Shout out to Mark, man.
Fire music, my man Duck Banks.
Shout out to Mark. Appreciate you, man. All right, 17-11 is the score, man. So Joe Ingles has got the ball, gets a screen from Rudy Gobert, then gives it to Donovan Mitchell, drives left, pump fakes, gives it up to Jordan Clarkson, gives it right back to Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell gets a switch. He's got Morris on him, crosses over, takes a step back three on the side. Not a good shot by Donovan Mitchell. This is where the Jazz got themselves in trouble at the end of Game 6. Too much Donovan Mitchell ISO. Here comes Jamal Murray, goes behind the back. Got Royce O'Neal on him. Gives a cross-court pass to Jokic, who then gives the ball to Jeremy Grant in the post. And he's putting up Jordan Clarkson, turns around and decides to. I'm surprised. That's weird. He really should have just took it to him. He really should have never
to the rack. I agree. He should have took it right to the rack. Those long arms. Why you try to dish that ball out like that?
That you just cost your team 2 points with that turnover. Anyway, take it away, D.
All right, man. Got Donovan Mitchell at the top of the key. Donovan Mitchell double teamed immediately. Throws the ball across court to Clarkson, which he almost loses it when he gains control of the ball. Clarkson with the turnaround jumper inside, and Clarkson's been playing extremely well for the Utah Jazz. Nice turnaround jumper inside by Clarkson to make the score 13-17. Joker comes down with the ball, finds Murray inside. Murray's wrapped up inside and fouled. They almost got a ball stripped. Murray got hit in the face. I just see somebody fling their arms, and they better watch out with that arm flinging because the referees have been quick on this tech whistle here.
Yeah.
So I think that was Gobert. Yeah, it was Gobert with this. With the little arm swing.
Mm-hmm.
That is enough to get you a technical foul these days. The refs have been really loose on those whistles with the technical fouls. Someone in the game I was just doing yesterday got a tech for that arm swing. And then P.J. Tucker held himself in. He didn't do it. All right, guys. So Michael Porter Jr. is in the game for the Denver Nuggets. Joker with the ball at the top, got Gobert on the defense. Good ball movement by the Nuggets. High arcing shot by Joker. Can't hit. Donovan Mitchell comes down with the rebound. Mitchell tries to get the ball inside to Conley, but a bad pass by Mitchell and another turnover for the Utah Jazz. So they're killing themselves, guys, on the turnovers. They're gonna have to do a better job at taking care of this ball. And that wasn't Mike Conley that he passed it to. Mike Conley just stepped in the game. So Joker at the top of the key passes it off to Michael Porter Jr. Gets it over to Monte Morris. Back to Joker for the turnaround jumper, and Joker puts it in. 19-13. Take it away, Lewis.
All right, man. So Mike Conley with the basketball, 19-13. He gives the ball off to Jordan Clarkson that gives it to Donovan Mitchell. Then Donovan Mitchell gives it right back to Mike Conley. Rudy Gobert sets the screen. Conley shoots with his offhand, but he misses the shot. Rebound Joker. Gives it to Monte Morris. Almost get bumped by his own teammate. Here come the Nuggets. Monte with the basketball. Gives it to Jokic. Jokic pump fakes. Puts the ball between his legs. And let's see if Grant takes advantage. No, he gets doubled by Georges Niang and Mike Conley. And then Monte Morris shoots a jump shot. Knocks it down. 21-13 is the score. Nuggets up by 8. Here come the Utah Jazz coming back down the floor. Donovan Mitchell with the ball. Drives it left, and a timeout is decided to be taken. Jazz off to a shaky. They've been shaky the last couple of minutes, so we got a timeout. The Nuggets have kind of found their groove a bit. So,
did you see that?
Go ahead, D.
Did you see that after the timeout? Donovan Mitchell just decided to shoot the ball anyway. Bottom of the net, 3-pointer. Too bad with the timeout.
I know, right? I would have cut it to 8. But anyway, 2:48 remaining in the first quarter. Score is 21-13. Denver up by 8. Let's go into the chat real quick. Jay says the Sixers are overrated. No 3-ball. It hurts the center. Raptors are down to that same team 2-0. Jimmy Butler destroyed the Bucks. Jay Jefferson says, and he held Middleton to only 7 points in the second half and only 3 points in the fourth. The crazy part was Giannis Antetokounmpo only had 18 points. Middleton was actually cooking in the first half. He just struggled in the second half. He only scored a third of his points in the second half, and that's how they struggled. Yeah, that's the thing, though. Jay, that's what we were saying also, though. Yeah, the Celtics are catching teams at the right time. That's true. I mean, you could say that for some of these teams it was that way in the bubble for some of these teams. But then also, the Celtics have really prevented Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet from getting into the paint. Because if you notice VanVleet and Kyle Lowry, they feast on getting to that basket. And the fact that the Celtics are using their length to really take away VanVleet, and we said that guard play was going to be key. So I think that Marcus Smart and Kemba Walker right now are outplaying Kyle Lowry and VanVleet. And I said this before, if Pascal Siakam is not the leading scorer of the Toronto Raptors, that's a big problem as well. And the fact that the Raptors are not hitting their threes. And also, like I said, Marc Gasol being a liability in this series with Daniel Theis, where Serge Ibaka has to start. And the strength of the Raptors is when he's able to come off the bench. But because Marc Gasol is really not being able to score at this point, consistently at this point of his career, it's going to both problems. And I said it's a bad matchup, for the Toronto Raptors. Shout out to Ashley. She says, what's up? What's up, Ashley? But the Toronto Raptors are in big trouble, though. I know Allison was hyping them up all year long, talking about this secret weapon. And listen, I give the Raptors credit for where they're at. I'm just saying when it comes to the playoffs, we're going to see who the real Toronto Raptors are when they get matched up against certain teams. And this is not a favorable matchup for the Raptors. This is where Kawhi Leonard would be huge for them right now, and a Danny Green as well. Those two pieces right now would, you wouldn't feel as worried. But that now having those two pieces now really hurts them. Yeah, and Jay, that's another good point too, because if you look at Middleton again, you don't really trust him at the end of games because he only got 3 points in the fourth, he only had 7 in the second half, and then Giannis struggled. He only had 18 points. And like I said before, and me and D and just everybody's pretty much been talking about this, that he have the blueprint defensively to really give the Bucks issues. The problem is, even Mark said it, is how is Mike Budenholzer going to adjust to that defense to be able to do that? And real quick, guys, remember the legendary. We're just celebrating the legendary coach of John Thompson, who passed away yesterday at the age of 78. Great guy, pioneer in basketball history, and we'll talk about him, later on. But take it away, D. We're back.
So 3 in the corner. I didn't see who hit that out of the corner, but that was a 3 just hit by Utah Jazz. So that brings the score to 16-21. Ball past the Joker inside. Joker got Rudy Gobert on the defense. Almost loses the ball, but he was able to regain control. Gives the ball to Michael Porter Jr. 5 seconds to shoot. Michael Porter Jr. back to Jokic. Jokic for the 3. Jokic, bottom of the net. That high arcing 3 kills me, but it goes right in. 24-16. 8-point lead by the Denver Nuggets. Donovan Mitchell slashes to the lane. Donovan Mitchell kicks the ball back outside in the corner for another 3, but they can't hit. Who was that? Lewis, who was that? They just shot that 3.
Was that? I think that was Georges Niang you were probably talking about.
That was Niang who shot that 3. So another score real quick. Sorry, guys. For the Denver Nuggets. 26-16, 10-point lead in this first quarter. And Conley slashes to the basket, gets the ball out to James. James back over to Donovan Mitchell. And Donovan Mitchell, did he step on the line or was it a foul call? Might have been a foul.
Yeah, I think it was a foul.
Yeah, I think he got a little bump on Donovan Mitchell and pushed him out of bounds. My man Freddie G in the building. What's good with you, Freddie? Appreciate you coming through, my man.
What's good, Freddie? Freddie the Dom. What's good, bro?
So Mitchell for the 3, and he bricks that. He can't hit. And Joker comes down with the ball. Joker full speed ahead to the basket, kicks it back out top to Torrey Craig for 3. Craig can't hit it. Looked like Joker was pushed in the back. No call by the referee. They throw the ball cross court to Donovan Mitchell, back cross court. And an alley-oop to Rudy Gobert inside for the dunk. 18-26. Nice pass by James to Rudy Gobert for that alley inside. All right, so Jamal Murray will slow the ball down. Gets it over to Torrey Craig on the wing. Back to Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray D'd up really well. They're not letting Jamal Murray get loose. Double team real quick. Turnaround jumper anyway. And Jamal Murray can't hit. But Joker with the rebound goes back up, but he can't hit. And Donovan Mitchell tries to save it, but stolen by Mike Conley. What a series there. Here comes the Utah Jazz in the corner. James for 3. Bottom of the net. 21-26. Down to a 5-point lead. 21.3 seconds left in the first quarter. So Jamal Murray will hold the ball for the last shot. 16 seconds on the shot clock. Jamal Murray at the top. Michael Conley on the defense. 10 seconds to shoot. Gives the ball to the Joker. Joker back to Murray. Good defense by Mike Conley. Murray trying to dribble through the crowd and gets fouled, looked like by Rudy Gobert with 3.1 seconds on the clock. So Utah's in the bonus, but they may have had a foul to give on Denver, so it will be a ball out. 3.1 seconds to shoot. Utah did have a foul to give. Michael Porter Jr. to pass the ball in, gets it inside to Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray with the long 3-pointer and hits the front of the rim. Awkward shot. He still was able to touch that rim with it. 21-26 to end this first quarter. And Utah's got to do a better job with taking care of that ball to start this game off. I'll tell you that. If they don't take care of that ball, that lead is going to grow and grow and grow.
Yep, that's it. I definitely agree with that. They're fortunate to be down by 5 with the way the Nuggets kind of played at the end of that first quarter. So turnovers are kind of just about even, which is why also the game is also very close. But yeah, 26-21, Denver is up by 5. I don't know if it's me, D, but I noticed that when Donovan does not have the ball in his hands, the Jazz move the ball more effectively. I think Donovan, I know he's still young, but he has to figure out how to play within the team and able to get his, along with able to make sure that the others are also able to get theirs as well. So, and I noticed that when he doesn't have the ball in his hands, they actually move the ball a lot better. Now, they are going to have a more difficult time scoring because Donovan is their best shot creator. But what I'm saying is, because you're their go-to guy and there is no Bogdanovich, you really have to really play team basketball, pick your spots, because that's also where they've been able to win as well in their wins. Not just with him going off, but he really shared that ball and let the game come to him.
Facts, I agree. But boy, these two guys, man, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to see the show, the Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray show. It looks like Jamal Murray might be getting heated up a little sooner than Donovan Mitchell, but rest assured, Donovan Mitchell's going to heat up here soon. Just the end of that first quarter might give you an indication of how this game was going to go, because right there at the end, that was pretty exciting.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm saying with Donovan Mitchell, if you heard what he said at the end of Game 6 and how frustrated he was that they blew that lead, what he has to understand is you went away from what got you that double-digit lead. You were sharing the ball pretty well. And then once you went isolation and then Jamal Murray got hot, which let the Nuggets get back in the game, and you started to get a little bit cold, and your offense got stagnant where Jamal Murray was taking over and he was just shooting the ball incredible. The only question is, I wonder how long Murray could keep this up. But it's been fun to watch, and it's been good enough that we have a Game 7 right now. I feel like the Nuggets should have never been down 3-1, but at the end of the day, it is basketball. Some of these things happen. It's exciting that we have a Game 7, especially with the way these two guys have performed, in this series.
And then they didn't have their guy in that first, matchup, and he had to come back, of course, and get acclimated, which really didn't take him long to do, because he actually had triple-double his first night back, and it's been uphill since then for Jamal Murray. I do know what the Denver Nuggets are probably going to be looking for is maybe to get some type of production out of Gary Harris when they give him time on the floor. They didn't play him very much last game, I think 16 minutes or so. And in that time, though, he was able to put up 4 points and capture 3 rebounds. So they're going to need Gary Harris moving forward, especially with Will Barton being out until October 1st, which means they'll be in the finals.
Mm-hmm. And like Ron says, Donovan needs to start the ball movement, and then once he starts the ball movement, let the ball come back to him. That's how they've been able to win.
Yeah, exactly. Chopstick in the building. What's good, Chopstick? Say I gotta go watch MPJ in high school. Yeah. All right, guys, we're back. Mike Conley at the top of the key. Double team immediately. Good defense on Mike Conley. Gives the ball to Ingles. Back to Conley. Back over to Ingles. Little give it a go there. Ingles goes down inside. Kicks the ball back outside to Jang. And Jang can't hit the three. And Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray clash for that rebound. Michael Porter Jr. picks it up, goes down inside, step back jumper, and Michael Porter Jr. can't hit, but Jordan Clarkson is called for the loose ball foul on Mason Plumlee. So the ball will stay down this end of the court, 21-29, Denver up by 3. 11 minutes and 11 seconds into this second quarter. Joker's on the bench, catching himself some rest. So Denver will bring the ball in over to Jamal Murray, and Harris is in and shoots the first 3 of this game for Harris, and he can't score. He misses that. Jordan Clarkson comes down with the ball. Here comes Clarkson. Clarkson drives right at Murray, goes down inside, kicks the ball back outside to Ingles. Ingles comes in, gives the ball back to Clarkson. Clarkson back outside the game for 3, and Jang can't hit. So Torrey Craig will get the rebound. Torrey Craig brings the ball down, drives down into the lane. Step back jumper. Craig can't hit. Off the back of the rim. Mike Conley catches the rebound, brings the ball down. Conley with the nice dish inside. And did that go in, Lewis? I couldn't see if that went in. Okay, no. So it didn't go in, but a nice dish right through both the defenders. What a pass, but they couldn't finish on the Wow, that was a nice pass. And I tell you something, Mike Conley is a huge addition to this Utah team. So Morgan at the line for 2, he was fouled on that play. And he misses the first free throw. It's all yours, Lewis.
All right, 29-21 score, 10:31 remaining in the second quarter. Juwan Morgan. I was trying to figure out who his name was. I remember now. Thank you for the graphic. All right, so tomorrow, 9 p.m., Lewis and D back with the basketball. Game 7, Houston Rockets OKC, man. Make sure y'all pull up for that one. So he misses both free throws, does Juwan Morgan, and now Jamal Murray's got the ball. He then gives it to was that Tor? No, was that Tor? No, that wasn't Tor. That's
Gary Harris.
Oh, Gary Harris came in. Okay, that was him. Okay, so he hits a 3. 32-21 is the score. Mike Conley with the basketball. Morgan sets a screen. Conley surveying. Nice bounce pass again. Good kick out. Joe Ingles shoots a 3-pointer. He can't hit. Michael Porter Jr. with the basketball. So he brings it up slowly. Then gives the ball to Mason Plumlee. Then gives the ball to Michael Porter Jr. Shoots a 3-pointer. Can't hit. Rebound is to Jordan Clarkson. Here he comes back down the floor. Clarkson puts the ball between his legs, tries to go step back, crosses over right on Gary Harris, gets into the paint. Nice little floater, and he gets the roll. 32-23 is the score. Here comes Jamal Murray coming right back down the floor. Yeah, I agree, Jay. He's been a disappointment. He's just started to play well. All right. So Michael Porter Jr. goes, and he puts the ball up, and he, absorbs the contact, scores plus the foul. 34-23 is the score, and Porter will go to the line to shoot 3. Take it away, D.
Oh, he fell hard though. You know, you gotta watch these guys. Watch how hard he falls. You know that when they fall like that, land on their ass, man. A lot of times that could cause back problems. So hopefully, it wasn't too hard to fall for Michael Porter Jr. These tall guys, that's a long way down. So Porter Jr. trying to convert on the 3-point play, and he does. So it's 35-23. The Denver Nuggets have extended this to a 12-point lead. Ingles will bring the ball down, hands it off to Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert gets it over to Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell slashes the lane. Nice little floater inside, but he can't hit. And Rudy Gobert is called for the foul. They said he stuck his leg out there to trick Torrey Craig. Rudy Gobert, stop complaining. You know, you got your leg up there. Another turnover by the Utah Jazz. Great move by Michael Porter Jr. They're showing that move again. All right, guys. So Jamal Murray will bring the ball across the court for the Nuggets. Got Michael Conley on the defense. Mason Plumlee comes up for the screen. Jamal Murray slashes right down inside. Michael Porter Jr. with the offensive rebound, fighting down there in the hole, and he gets fouled again. 13 seconds on the shot clock. But that was a shooting foul, though. Are they calling that a ball out?
That should be 2 free throws.
That should be 2 free throws. I didn't see them change the time on the clock, though.
I think it is 2 free throws because Michael Porter went to the free throw line.
All right, so Porter will shoot the first free throw, and he can't hit it. Rolls right off the side of the rim. It would say good foul.
Yeah. Okay, Jay says Conley is overrated. I've said it here and before. Yeah, I mean, Conley's a very good player. He's been disappointing. I know he has that big contract, but he has been disappointing with his play. He's just starting to play well, and it's sad that for some of the things that he gets credit for, he has just not really been that good. I've said Conley, as good as he is, to me, he's overrated, and it showed this season. Anyway, Jordan Clarkson with the basketball. Clarkson, a lot of dribbling on Gary Harris. Great defense by Gary Harris. Was able to strip him on that block. So Gary Harris brings it back down the floor, gives it to Michael Porter Jr. Oh, beautiful pass inside to Torrey Craig for the dunk. And the Denver Nuggets with a 14-point lead. And D, I got to say this. I've been impressed with the Nuggets defense in this game, something that they really haven't been playing this entire series. But they except for probably late in games, but their defense, at least at the start right now, has been excellent right now, giving them this 14-point lead.
And let's take notice to something, guys. Let's take notice to something. During the bubble, and this is what I kept telling everyone, let's not worry about the Denver Nuggets, because during the bubble, they did not have Jamal Murray or Gary Harris. These guys are not just offensive. They're pretty good defensive players, especially Gary Harris. He's better on the defense, I would say, or just as good on the defense as he is on offense, but he's very effective. Now that they have these two guys back, we know Torrey Craig was always a pretty good defensive player, as well as Jeremy Grant. These guys are ready, man. And that's a reason I picked them as the dark horse team. They didn't have all their tools during that bubble, so I don't think a lot of people could really pull out what they really were. But this is a very talented team here.
Talented and deep. And let me just say this about Mike Conley real quick. I get what you guys are saying, that he's been in the league for, over 10 years and has never made an all-star team. But we also got to understand this too. One, he's been injury prone, so that doesn't really help his case, but that means he hasn't really been on the floor. But number two, in the time that Mike Conley's been in the league, look at the cream of crop of point guards he's gone up against. If he was in the Eastern Conference, he'd probably have a better shot. So durability has been an issue. But then in the time that he's played against, he's gone against some of the top point guards in the game. And the thing is also, though, they've put up more better numbers. I think if Mike Conley had put up better numbers and showed more impact, he probably would have been an all-star even in the Western Conference. Because Jay just mentioned the fact that he said that Chris Middleton as the ninth option. Well, he bugging with that one, but he's like, as the ninth option, he made an all-star team. But I said also look at his numbers and also look at his position. He gave you 21 points per game and was having a 50-40-90 season. I mean, if that doesn't say all-star, man, I don't know what does. So, that's what hurts about Mike Conley. I mean, at one point he was being called underrated, but not by me, but by people in the media. But that's what that's basically how it is. It's been with Mike Conley, man. It's just been injuries and going up against the point guards in the West. So you look at a Russell Westbrook, Stephen Curry, Damian Lillard, Steve Nash when he was playing. I mean, it's tough for him. If he was in the East, then yeah. But I think that the fact that Mike Conley, he could have put up some better numbers. He just hasn't been able to do it. And durability has been one of those things as well, though.
Yeah. And that's what I always say about, and Lewis, I know you've heard me say it plenty of times, durability plus availability equals eligibility. You got to be on the floor, man. Like, you can't be called this great player, that great player if you're not spending enough time on the floor. You're not eligible in my opinion.
Facts, D.
All right, some reason I lost my scoreboard. I want to go back up.
Jay says, I'm not playing either Conley or Kyle Lowry. Choose your pick. All right, guys, so we're back. 37-23 is the score. So Donovan Mitchell with the basketball gives it to Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles waiting, gives the ball right back to Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell. The Jazz have got to start realizing this is a game 7. All right, so Donovan Mitchell, beautiful Euro step, but he just shoots it a little too high, and he misses the shot. The ball's given to Jamal Murray, so he brings the ball up. Murray gives the ball to Mason Plumlee. Mason Plumlee then gives the ball to Gary Harris coming off a curl. Gary Harris then gives it to Michael Porter Jr., puts the ball between his legs, gives the ball to Mason Plumlee, sets a screen. Michael Porter goes left, shoots a jump shot, short. All right, Ingles with the rebound. Almost got a foul call on Gary Harris, but to no avail. All right, Donovan Mitchell coming back. Hesitation move, gets to the paint, shoots a shot, and we got an offensive foul. And it looks like it's going to be on Donovan Mitchell, so the Jazz turn it over. D, are you good? Or
no, I'm good. I was just listening to the commentary, bro.
No. I'm just making sure the stream was all up because you said your stream is gone now. So just check it.
No, my scoreboard went down.
Oh, scoreboard. Okay, my mistake.
Yeah, no, we're still good. We're rocking.
All right, man. Take it away, bro.
All right. So it's going to be Morris is going to bring the ball down for the Denver Nuggets. Morris out on the wing. Morris double team. And they switch up on the defense. Conley checks him up. Here comes Gary Harris behind the back pass to Joker. Joker dribbles down inside, gives the ball off to Porter Jr. with the step back jumper. Porter Jr. with the air ball, and Mike Conley picks it up. Nice down the court pass from Mike Conley to Clarkson, who goes in for the dunk and gets fouled. So Clarkson will go to the line for two, trying to dig into that lead, 25-37. Let's see if he can convert on this three-point play and bring that lead down to 11. Nice hard drive to the basket by Jordan Clarkson. And Jordan Clarkson has been playing extremely well for the Utah Jazz.
He's been the better scorer other than Donovan Mitchell. And it hurts not having Bogdanovich there because it really would help him because that would give Mitchell a third guy, at least a second guy in the starting lineup, and then Clarkson coming off the bench.
But to be fair, they don't have their third guy and Will Barton. So, and Barton's a really big piece because he can slash the lane, shoot the ball, and he's a great defender as well. So, if they had Bogdanovich and Denver had Barton, I think we probably still have the same story here. I think Denver's just a little bit stronger, have a little more depth than the Utah Jazz.
All right, so Jokic gets fouled on that jump shot by Rudy Gobert, so he goes to the line to shoot two. 37-26 is the score, now 38-26. All right, so we got a 12-point lead, 7 minutes remaining, just under 7 minutes remaining in Game 7 in the first half. Salute to everybody that's here, guys. Make sure to like the video for both Lewis Sports Network and Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. 39-26 is the score. Take it away, D.
All right, Donovan Mitchell with the ball at the top of the key. Donovan Mitchell got Torrey Craig on the defense. Nice pass down the inside by Donovan Mitchell. And it's another foul, look like on Nikola Jokic. So Utah back to the line, trying to get two. Looks like this game is slowing down a little bit because of the high amount of whistles being blown here. Guys, putting in a whole lot of contact. So Jamal Murray will take a break. They'll give him a rest. And Jazz cannot hit either free throw. So that's not going to help, man. You get to that line, you're going to have to cash in. So no points at that trip to the line. Monte Morris with the ball. Gets it over to Joker. Joker with the mismatch on him. Immediately double team. Joker gets the ball in the middle to Grant. Grant in the corner to Monte Morris for three. He can't hit. Joker comes down with the rebound. Back up top to Grant. Back over to Morris. Morris gets the ball to Torrey Craig. Back down to Joker. Immediately double team. Joker fights through the double team. Kicks it in the corner to Murray for three. And sorry, that was Michael Porter Jr. for three. So 42-27. Denver increasing that lead again. And Mike Conley drives down into the lane, but he can't hit the layup. Joker pushes the ball ahead to Grant. Grant over in the corner to Torrey Craig, wide open, but he can't hit the three. And Donovan Mitchell get the ball, and he's fouled from behind by Jeremy Grant. So 5 minutes, 42 seconds left in the half, guys. The Denver Nuggets up 42-27.
It's not looking good for the Jazz right now with the way that they're stagnant on offense right now. And Denver's actually playing good defense, so give them credit. Also, if you notice, D, though, they've got the Jazz with their defense. They got them so packed in the paint, they'll either have them all caved in or all spread out. So the Jazz defense to me looks confused right now, and they're being tentative on offense right now. All right, so it looks like that's Royce O'Neal. He gives the ball to Donovan Mitchell. Good defense by Monte Morris on the turnover, and he scores on all. He misses the layup. Good defensive recovery by Donovan Mitchell. Michael Porter overshoots the layup, but he draws another foul, and he'll go to the line to shoot two. And it looks like the foul, I think, is going to be on Jordan Clarkson. So right now, they're really giving the Nuggets problems. I see not the Nuggets, the Jazz. That was a very good trapping on that double team by Monte Morris. So Denver's actually giving them different looks on offense, and then defensively, they're just doing a good job being aggressive, trapping without fouling. So, give the Nuggets a lot of credit, man. They've come to play in this Game 7.
And it's an uphill battle for the Utah Jazz, because prior to the return of Jamal Murray, if you guys didn't notice, Jeremy Grant and Michael Porter Jr. were just starting to get into their group, and then Jamal Murray comes back lights out. But you still got those guys that are ready to play, man. And that's a lot of depth. You got Joker. And real quick, guys, Donovan Mitchell is heading back to the locker room, and that is not good. A steal by Monte Morris. Monte Morris comes down, shoots the three-pointer, can't hit. Bad shot by Monte Morris. Should have waited for some help. Jordan Clarkson to get the rebound. Clarkson with the mismatch. Crosses over the Joker. Nice defense by the Joker to keep those feet moving. Jordan Clarkson brings the ball back outside. Clarkson dribbles around Joker again, shoots the ball back outside for the three, and they can't hit off again. Jeremy Grant comes down with the rebound, kicks it ahead to Monte Morris. Monte Morris with the ball, Conley on the defense. Over the top to Joker. Joker with the mismatch. Nice move inside by the Joker for the dunk. 46-27. Take it away, Lewis.
All right, and Donovan Mitchell, not only has he went to the locker room, he's also got 3 fouls in this game as well. So that's another uphill right there, and he's only got 2 points. All right, so Mike Conley with the basketball. Dribbles the ball, gives it to Royce O'Neal, gives it to Mike Conley, who then gives the ball to Jordan Clarkson. Takes one dribble, takes a step back three, and he drains that one. 46-30 is the score right now. We got just about to reach the 4-minute mark in the first half. Monte Morris brings off the ball up slowly. Who's going to score for Utah other than right now that they're missing their best scorer? Gives the ball to Jeremy Grant, almost traveled right there. And then gives the ball. Who shot that three? Looks like it was Gary Harris, but he missed. Offensive rebound, Michael Porter Jr., but he gets called for the offensive foul on the push-off. So we got 3:48 remaining in the first half. It is 3:48 left in this first half. 46-30 is the score, with the Nuggets being up by 16. And Jokic, nice spin move going off of Morgan right there to be able to dunk the basketball. I mean, you teach that as a big man when you're in the post. That's one of the moves you could do. Get in the post, and you quickly spin off the defender trying to catch him off guard because they're defending you, thinking that you're going to back off them. Jordan Clarkson gets the pass, shoots a three, but he hits scores shot an air ball with the follow-through, and the Jazz with another turnover. All right, take it away, D.
All right. So Joker with the ball out on the wing. Joker passes the ball up to Monte Morris. Gets it back over to, and that was Grant down inside to Joker, but I believe Joker might have got a 3-second violation. So turnover on the Denver Nuggets. Joker with the 3-second violation. All right, Mike Conley with the ball. Kicks it in the corner. And Utah shooting bad from behind that arc. They probably need to try to drive that ball inside. Denver with the good ball movement. Monte Morris with the ball out on the wing. Gives it to Torrey Craig up top. Back over to Monte Morris. He gets it down inside to the Joker. Joker angles on him. Immediately double team. Back up top. They get the ball to Jamal Murray. 5 seconds to shoot. Over to Torrey Craig. 2 seconds. In the corner to Morris. Morris can't hit. And there's a loose ball foul. Looks like it's going to be on the Denver Nuggets. Donovan Mitchell's back out on the court. He's back out of the locker room, but he's putting his warm-up on, so he's probably not going to play for the rest of this half. I don't think they want to risk him with those 3 fouls. Definitely going to need Donovan Mitchell in the second half if they're going to have any chance to win this game.
Oh, yeah. So they're showing Jokic off the misses, and that's something that Jokic does very well. If you notice that pass, once he gets the rebound. And remember that we know that Kevin Love is another player in the league that he's very good at giving outlet passes off a rebound to where when you can ignite a fast break without having him to run the floor. And that's a nice luxury to have. And then another thing you got to give Jokic credit for, his playmaking in the post, at the top, off a rebound. Like, that shows to me the versatility of a great passer, especially the fact that, he's a big man. Many different ways to pretty much pass the basketball, and what he shows you. It's not always just about racking assists. That just says that you pass the ball to get numbers, the mark of a great passer is the many different ways you can get an assist, whether in the fast break or in the half-court set. All right, guys, so we are at a timeout. 2:40 remaining in this first half. Score is 46-30. Let me just check in the chat. Conley is a mediocre player, says Jay. Would never start my franchise with him as my point guard. Jay says Jordan Clarkson being your 6th or 7th man will get you plane ticket home after the first round. I know Denver's up 16, but I feel they should be up 20 because they've missed some chippies. Michael Porter's been productive. Without Clarkson, Utah would be down 20 plus. Denver plays to their opponents. Their game is being allowed to be played, though. I'm interested to see how the Nuggets play against the Clippers. If the Jazz don't come back and the Nuggets win this game. If they do not come back, and that's what I'm talking about, Utah. Denver wins, and then they match up against the LA Clippers. Their game, I believe, is going to be on Thursday, game 1 at 9. And definitely would love to do that game with D, man. I think that's going to be a great series.
Yeah, I do too. We get ready to get real busy here, man. When everybody get in the second round, with it only being 2 games a day, I don't know. I know I might be doing some double headers and trying to keep coverage on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Good point, Ron. Another mark of a great passer is able to get the hockey assists. That's true. Basically, you allow everybody to touch the ball, and the team is able to still score to get that hockey assist. So, that's great. But I also think
Kevin in the building. What's good with you, Kevin? Appreciate you coming through, fam.
All right, shout out to Kevin, man. And Jokic can dish, but he needs to learn how to score. No, he can score. I think what you're trying to say, G Money, is that I think he needs to learn how to score aggressively. And I also think what you also mean is being able to score when you need him to score, because I think his issue is not the fact that he can't score. His issue is he doesn't really score with aggression, especially when you need him down the stretch. Now, Jamal Murray's been doing that in this series. With the way that it's going right now, it doesn't look like they're going to really need any of that unless the Jazz can make a furious comeback. But I think with Jokic, it's more so of give me the ball, get out of the way, let me just do something down the stretch. You still want to play the team game, but again, it's like when the game gets really tight, you're going to need that guy to really take over that game. And so Jamal Murray's been doing that down the stretch. I think with Jokic, it's just a matter of him being confident in being aggressive and scoring the basketball when it's there. So good news for the Jazz, guys. Donovan Mitchell is back in this game. But Mike Conley misses both free throws. Take it away, D. 46-31 is the score. Actually, no, he made 1 out of 2. Excuse me.
All right, so Jamal Murray with the ball on the wing, drives down inside. Hard, difficult jumper inside. A lot of contact, no call, but Jamal Murray drains it. 48-31. They open up a 17-point lead, almost blocked by Jeremy Grant. And good ball movement by the Jazz to get it over to Ingles, but he can't hit the 3. Monte Morris comes down with the rebound. 2 minutes left in the half, guys. Monte Morris with the ball out on the wing, gets it in the Joker. Joker with the mismatch again. Joker, no double team. They finally double team him. Get the ball to Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray up top to Craig. Craig over to Monte Morris. Great ball movement. Jeremy Grant dribbles down inside with those long arms, but he can't hit. Jeremy Grant is off today for some reason. Here comes the Utah Jazz. Full steam ahead. Mike Conley gets the ball to Clarkson. Clarkson brings it back out behind the line. Tries to regroup. Double team on Clarkson. Clarkson drives right at Joker. Almost travels. Gets the ball out to Ingles. Ingles inside, and it no contact. It looked like he ran in the Joker, committed the contact, and now there'll be a foul called on Ingles. And big trouble, guys. We got Jamal Murray down.
And Royce O'Neal was also down as well. I'm surprised they didn't call on Royce. Royce O'Neal did not get a foul call, but Jamal Murray being down hurts because he's been your best scorer. And he's holding on to. He's like right above the 5 right there.
And this is where his injury was. So This is really significant, and I think that they should pull him out the game. Let the staff take a look at him. He can barely stand up. This is bad news for the Denver Nuggets because this guy had brought him back. And that's just really terrible right there by Ingles, man. Sometimes I think that some of these guys, look at that. Look at that. That should be a flagrant foul, bro. Because he stuck his leg out there and tried to do that, right? I mean, he went over there to check on him, but you knew what you was doing.
Joe Ingles, come on, dog. Really?
Yeah, and then he goes to stick his hand out like, no, you knew what you was doing when you stuck your leg out there. Look at this.
A lot of these NBA players, they know what they're doing when they cause a lot of these guys to either stick. His knee clipped him right in the thigh muscle, man.
Yeah. Jamal Murray, did you see that? Like, get the fuck off of me, man. You know what you just did. It's like he aimed that knee at his injury, right?
Yep.
I think that should almost be a suspension, man. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that he intended to do that.
In my personal opinion, D, that should be a flagrant 2 because they might call it a flagrant 1, but that should be a flagrant 2 just because he intently hit Jamal Murray on that injury, and I'm pretty sure Joe Ingles knew what he was doing when he hit him there because he knew Jamal Murray was injured there, and you can't tell me that those guys. Yeah, I mean he gives me listen, man. Joe Ingles should not be in the game right now. I'm sorry, man.
No, that's unacceptable right there, man. It's one thing if you do something by accident, but like he clearly extended his leg out and he aimed for the injury. You see that big white brace on his damn thigh? You know what the injury is, man.
It's like it's so obvious, man. It is so obvious.
Wow, that was a dirty play.
Shout out to Jake Smith. Shout out to Jake Smith. He says Nuggets at 7. So far, it's looking like that right now. And I think Joe Ingles did that because, trust me, he knows that the Nuggets have the momentum right now, and they've outplayed the Jazz in the first half right now. The Jazz they're stagnant on offense. They look tentative, and they haven't been able to stop them on defense. So Donovan Mitchell quickly crosses over, gets into the lane, and he scores. Here in the chat. Guys, make sure to like the video. All right, so under a minute.
Nice hand from behind by Jordan Clarkson to force the steal. Mike Conley with the ball at the top of the key. Kicks the ball out, and it looked like Joker got his hands on that ball.
Yeah, he got his hand on that.
Okay. So Jamal Murray is staying on the court. Tough kid, man. He's obviously in a little bit of pain. He's limping around, but he's deciding to stay on the court. And I got to be honest, Lewis. I think that I would kind of get him out of there for a second if I was Denver.
To be honest with you, you're up 17. You only got 44 seconds in the first half. Murray doesn't really need to be out there right now. Just gotta give him some time to regroup because I just don't want him to get hurt in these last couple seconds. All right, Donovan Mitchell trying to carry the team back, and he hits the 3. And remember, Donovan Mitchell, he now has 7 points. He only had 2 through most of this first half. He's 3 for 7. Let's see if he can get going. All right, so Jeremy Grant gives the ball to Murray. You can see he's limping with that basket. He's limping with that basketball. I really wouldn't have. I would have took him out. Anyway, though, Monte Morris gives the ball to Gary Harris. Gary Harris dribbles right, shoots the shot. The ball goes in and out, and Royce O'Neal clears for the rebound. Oh, wow. Donovan Mitchell saves it because it almost went out of bounds. Here comes Joe Ingles. 8 seconds, 7 seconds remaining first half. Donovan Mitchell, what's he going to do? He's got the rock. Goes all the way to kicks it out to Jordan Clarkson for 3, but he can't hit at the buzzer. That actually would have had the Jazz on an 8-0 run to end the first half, but it is the end of the first half, and Mitchell with only 7 points, but the score is 50-36 at the end of the first half. The Nuggets with a 14-point lead right here on the Lewis Sports Network. Basketball Live with Lewis and D. Western Conference quarterfinals, Game 7 between the Utah Jazz and the Denver Nuggets. And you guys know how I do in the first half. While D entertains you guys, I'm going to go pretty much into the kitchen and cook you guys with some halftime stats. Today's halftime stats meal is some apple pecan pie with some vanilla sauce, and I'll be right back.
Okay. The apple pie with the vanilla sauce. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Well, guys, here we go. I want to kick it with you guys. Keys to victory. Been a while since the didn't have any issues where I had to leave the game. But I'm here. I'm here now, guys. I found me another scoreboard to get that back up. But anyway, keys to victory is simple, in my opinion, when it comes to the Utah Jazz. Y'all got to stop turning the damn ball over, you know, because again, the Denver Nuggets are offensively, they're doing well. You cannot be turning the ball over to a team that's offensively efficient. Okay, and the Denver Nuggets, on the other hand, are playing fairly decent defense. So this is a recipe for disaster for the Utah Jazz right now. They're trying to get into rhythm. Everybody's not shooting really well right now, but you're not going to get in the rhythm, and you're going to keep allowing that lead to be extended if you don't take care of that ball. Make the extra pass. Stay off of that three-point line if you don't have to be. These are the things that the Utah Jazz have to do. That's the most important thing, in my opinion, that they're going to have to do to stay in this game. Other than that, they're just going to watch the lead extend and extend and extend, and they're going to be too far behind to even catch up. But when we look at the Denver Nuggets, I say keep doing what you're doing. They're playing solid defense. They're moving that ball well. And, look, they're sharing it, man. Look at Lewis is getting ready to come back with the stats. And when we hear the points of the guys on the team, they're sharing that ball. A lot of people a lot of different players are scoring. And when you have that's good, efficient team play. That's the type of play that wins championships. Moving that ball around, getting everybody in the team into some form of rhythm. And the Denver Nuggets, they roll deep. They have a deep squad. Any one of these guys can really take off and put up a lot of points for you. Michael Porter Jr. can do it. Like I said, Gary Harris is back. He's gone for multiple 30-point double-double games. We've seen what Donovan Mitchell can do. We know what Nikola Jokic can do. So this is a very talented team, a lot of depth, and I love the way that they're sharing that ball right now. And Denver's looking good. Look like they're going to close this Game 7 out if Utah don't change some things up. So get your forks and napkins because I think the meal is done. What you got for us, Lewis?
All right, guys, man. So I hope y'all like some apple pecan pie with some vanilla sauce with these first half stats. All right, so as D was mentioning, the Jazz only have one player in double figures, and that's only Jordan Clarkson with 10. So that's not a good sign already. The Nuggets have 3. They got Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, and Nikola Jokic, all with 10-plus points each. Nikola needs all scorers with 13, and he's got 3 assists. And if we go to the stat, D talked about the sharing of the basketball. Check it out, guys. The Jazz have 9 assists. That's, if you do the math, they're going to get lower than 20 assists. The Nuggets have 14 assists as a team already. So that already tells you they're on pace to have anywhere from 28 to 30 assists in this game. And then if you look at the field goal percentage, Nuggets are shooting better at a solid 46% to 38% for the Jazz, so they got to pick it up. The three-pointers have been pretty much even. Both teams have made 5 threes. The Nuggets are shooting better from the line than the Jazz. Jazz are only 3 out of 7, while the Nuggets are 9 of 11. But they also got to do a better job on the rebounds, man. They're getting killed on the boards. The Nuggets are plus 13 on the rebound, and they got 5 offensive rebounds too. So rebounding, the assists, the turnovers, it's 8-7. The Nuggets have turned the ball over more. But the thing is, they're being able. The reason being that they're struggling right now is what D just said. They're sharing the basketball, and the Jazz have been stagnant on offense right now. And then points in the paint, the Jazz are winning that by 2. And steals are even at 4, and so are the blocks at 1 apiece. And like I said, guys, these are pretty much your first half stats in this game. It just mattered, like D mentioned, about the assists. The Nuggets are really sharing the basketball. Michael Porter Jr. did a great job. They got 3 guys in double figures right now, while the Jazz only have 1, and it's not even your best player. So your best player has to get going, obviously. But it's also what Ron said. He has to share the ball and let the game come to him. That's how they were able to win the 3 games against the Nuggets, despite the fact that the Nuggets had injuries. Now the Nuggets are starting to get healthy too. That's another thing. But They have to keep in mind to share that rock in the second half.
And I tell you something else, Lewis, that the Denver Nuggets fans and the Denver Nuggets should be leery about is the simple fact that when you have Nikola Jokic leading the charge, I'm going to tell you this right now. I have not seen when Jamal Murray is on the floor and Nikola Jokic is playing like this, I've not seen those guys lose. That's the thing, because we've seen what Jamal Murray can do. We know what Jamal Murray can do. When Jokic is playing this well, right? And then you look over and you also have Michael Porter Jr. almost with a double-double already. Jokic is playing this well. This is bad news for the Utah Jazz. This is bad news for the Utah Jazz.
Yep. All right, shout out to Jermaine. Appreciate you coming through. What's going on, my brother? He says, what up, chat family? Oh, and good commentary by the way, D. That's what's up, man. Shout out to you, Jermaine. Appreciate you coming through, my brother. Jokic has been aggressive tonight, and that's the thing with his scoring. The thing is he can score, but the thing with Jokic is always, remember how we always said that Jokic always gets his points effortlessly, and that's always throughout the flow of the game. The key with Jokic now is like if you want to establish yourself as one of the best players in the game, like the ones that get talked about, even if you're in a smaller market, it's about your aggressiveness. So your aggression is what's going to lead you to be talked about, even if you're in a small market. Sometimes there's players who don't get the recognition because they're in a small market, and their games are good, but they're not loud enough. So Jokic to me has to be loud, and what I mean by that is be aggressive. And your point, and as long as you're able to score consistently and when it matters, you're going to get talked about a lot more, despite being in a small market. So you have to have a loud game, for really people to talk about you. I mean, because look, even when Kawhi Leonard was in Toronto, they spoke about him because, again, Kawhi has a loud game, even though we all know Kawhi to be quiet. But that's because he was there. So that's really what it is about Jokic. All right, man. So let's look into the comment section. What D was mentioning. G Money says the Jazz are on pace to score 80. Shout out to Karam as well. He is big excited on his Thunder after they got a huge win yesterday, 104-100 against the Houston Rockets. And D was doing that game last night. Chris Paul doing his thing, being clutch. He's been clutch all season. They forced a game 7. I'm going to tell you right now, D, I'm concerned for the Houston Rockets. They need to win this game because it's going to look really ugly on Daryl Morey, Mike D'Antoni, or should I say no D'Antoni, the Pringle man, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. Now, I know Westbrook had just came back from the hamstring injury, but the problem is that when I put my community post, I said this is an old act. And what I mean by that is you get really the same thing. For two guys who have been in the league for 10 plus years, they still show the lack of IQ and tenderness late in games, and it really shows with their decision making. And if they're not careful, because this series should have been over with, give the Thunder credit, but this series should have been over with because the Rockets are the better team. Now they're not the better defensive team, but they have been playing good defense with them being able to score the ball because they're second in the league in points per game. The issue is, again, their two superstars continue to make these boneheaded decisions with low IQ late in games. And if they don't take and with the Rockets, and tell me what you think about this, D. I think when the game is out of reach, they play better. But I think in a close game, I would take Oklahoma City over Houston. Tell me what you think about that.
Yeah, I think they play better in the clutch. I do. In a close game, I think they do play better in the clutch. I think they'll close out better. The Rockets, when they have to close out, a lot of times, and we've seen it, this is what James Harden gets heat for. He nuts up, bro. That's the thing. He nuts up, and it's just the truth. I try to give him the benefit of the doubt. A couple of seasons ago, or last season we were talking about it. I try to give him the benefit of the doubt, but they nut up at the end. And so, yeah, I would agree with that. I would trust them and the clutch, at the end when the game is close. I would trust Chris Paul and Shai Alexander and, Schroeder to get it done more than I would the Rockets.
Absolutely, man. And so the Nuggets and the Jazz are starting to warm up. The second half will be starting in pretty much a few minutes. Again, salute to everybody that's out here, guys. Make sure to like the video as you guys come in.
Let me go use the bathroom right quick while we on this halftime break. Excuse me for a second, guys.
No problem. All right, so Ron says the Jazz have to run something else besides those dribble handoffs with the rotation. Yeah, man. The thing is that that's too predictable for them. They have to run something else. I'm surprised that they're not using more pick and roll and screen and roll that gave the Nuggets problems during the 3 wins in the series. They're doing too many dribble handoffs, and the Nuggets are reading that. They're reading and reacting to the dribble handoffs. Jay says the Jazz are in serious trouble. They don't have the dogs when they're facing a go-home situation. You can see it in their faces. You can really see it in their faces. It's probably one of the reasons why Joe Ingles committed that foul too, which I was not happy with. But I just feel like they just have a hard time stopping. They're having a hard time stopping the Nuggets defensively, and I can tell to me that was a frustration foul, even though he tried to stop Murray from going on the break. But I think that's frustration because you clearly see it. And I said this before that the Jazz, with all due respect to that basketball team, this is a front-running basketball team because I never took them seriously because other than Bogdanovich, remember, people came in, Mike Conley came into the season. I was excited for the move because I thought that it would give somebody else to score, but Conley's disappointing play, and he's just starting to play well. And, it's at a bad time. So it's kind of a bad time because of that now. He hasn't really been a factor in this game. Bogdanovich is out with the injury, so Mitchell doesn't have a reliable second option. And then on top of that, Mitchell is trying to do everything on his own, but he's not letting the game come to him. That's how they won their games. He has to get the hockey assist, let the game come to him, and I agree with Ron. They need to start running some more pick and roll, screen and roll action and stop with these dribble handoffs because the Nuggets are reading those plays. And also Mitchell to avoid going on the one-on-one. Like, you can start to do that a little bit like when the game is close and you get into a rhythm, but you really haven't been able to get a rhythm in this game. And remember, guys, Mitchell also has 3 fouls. So let's also keep that in mind. All right, let's go into the chat. G-Money says the Rockets choked away games 3, 4, and 6 because of turnovers and bad shot selection. Then those are facts. Those are facts. The Thunder have balled out, but they could have won game 2 if it wasn't for the bad fourth quarter and won game 6. Ron says in all 3 wins by the Thunder, the Rockets did their part. Exactly. G-Money says, I say if the game comes down to the wire, OKC will rain a thunderstorm and advance for the first time since 2016. Jay says whoever the Lakers play next, the Lakers are going to run all over them. I said that because the Thunder, they don't match up well with the Lakers. And like the Lakers, they don't shoot the 3-ball well. If they shoot the 3-ball well, it would have been better. Jay says, Karam, nothing to lose in the bet, and you still won't take it, man. Same thing since 2-2. That sounds right, Lou. Russ and James are chokers, says Freddie, making crazy passes and taking stupid shots. The major key of beating LeBron James teams is making LeBron play defense, and you do that, you will have him drained. Quinn Snyder might be on the hot seat if they don't rally in Game 7 in advance. It's because they had a 3-1 lead. And Jermaine says, I didn't expect the Jazz to win more than 2 games anyway in this series. I had picked the Nuggets to win this series. I did. But after the Jazz went up 3-1, I said to myself, man, you mean to tell me the Nuggets are going to get upset in 5 games to the Jazz? And I said this would have been easier for the Clippers. But now the Clippers are going to have it difficult. Let's see what happens with Utah. Right now, the Jazz, with their fewest playoff points in the first half since 2012 with 36, it just showed it. All right, man, so we're getting ready for the second half. Once again, shout out to everybody that is in the chat. And Jay also says that he had the Nuggets winning the series anyway. All right, so the first half, Jamal Murray has got 10 points on a very good 4 of 7 shooting. Mitchell is only 3 out of 7 with 7 points. And the third quarter has just begun. D, are you back? Looks like he's not. All right, so I will do it. All right, Jokic takes a jump shot from the free throw line, and just like that, the Nuggets get off, and they're started right away. 52-36 is the score. All right, Mike Conley with the basketball. Gives the ball to Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell with the rock, goes all the way to the basket, tries to score. He can't. Rebound is to Nikola Jokic. Jokic brings the ball up the floor. Man, Jokic looks good bringing off the ball up. Gives it to Jeremy Grant. Monte Morris gets into the paint, kicks it out to Jokic. Jokic, nice high-low play, and the ball is deflected out of bounds, and the Nuggets will keep the ball with 12 on the shot clock. All right, so the ball is given inbounded to Jokic and then giving the ball to Paul Millsap. Millsap then gives the ball to Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray shoots a three-pointer. And he drains it. 55-36 is the score. All right, so it's a 19-point lead. It's the biggest of the series for the Nuggets. All right, so Joe Ingles gives the ball to Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell puts the dribble, gets to the middle of the floor, tries to dunk the basketball and draws a foul. And Donovan Mitchell landed real hard, but looks like he was able to brace his fall, so he'll go to the line to shoot 2 free throws with 10:52 remaining in the third quarter. All right, let me just check the chat real quick. Jay says Jazz need players that play in pressure situations. It's not all Snyder. No, yeah, I feel you on that. I know they said Quinn Snyder was on the hot seat, but it's like they don't really have pressured players right now to play in those situations. Plus, Utah over the years have been overachievers. I agree with that. Me too, Lou. When the Jazz went up, I started rooting for them as Mitchell knocks it down 55-37. I started rooting for them, but they went to bed. Jay says, what's good? Ron says, basically, the Jazz have to play this second half like they really want it. Yeah, man, they look like they really didn't want to play in that first half. They look very tentative. They look lost. As Mitchell knocks out the second free throw. You back, D?
Yeah, that's the thing that happens when you live in the house with a bunch of women. You know, you always get seconds in the bathrooms.
All right, take it away, my brother.
All right, nice move by Donovan Mitchell inside, but he can't hit. And Joker gets the rebound. Joker with the pass in the corner to Craig for 3 and in and out. Craig can't hit the 3. Donovan Mitchell comes down with the rebound, tosses the ball down court. And for the corner 3, and Utah can't hit. So Murray catches, shoots, and the whistle down low. I'm not sure. I think that was on Nikola Jokic.
I think so. So I had to refresh my page a little bit because I was way behind.
Oh, yeah, he pushed him. So that's 3 on Jokic.
Yep.
All right, here comes Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell dribbles right through the defense and almost loses the ball, but not Conley.
Royce O'Neal.
That was Royce O'Neal picks the ball up. Immediate double team on Donovan Mitchell. He tries to get outside of the double team, and he does with a turnaround floater. I don't even know what to call that shot Donovan Mitchell just put up, but it did go in. So it's a 15-point lead, 55-40. What a shot by Donovan Mitchell. That's 2 shots back-to-back for Donovan Mitchell. Monte Morris out on the wing with the ball, and looks like we're going to have a foul on Royce O'Neal this time. He fouls Nikola Jokic. So, you know, and I'll tell you this too. That's an easy mismatch every time. Royce O'Neal on Joker. Easy mismatch for Denver. So they have Rudy Gobert out on the wing on Joker, and Joker goes up with the left. He can't hit. Here comes Jeff Ingles with the ball. Ingles gives the ball to O'Neal. Back to Ingles. Ingles, top of the key with the ball. Passes it off to Donovan Mitchell for 3. And Mitchell, bottom of the net. Donovan Mitchell, here he comes. 43-55, 12-point lead. So Donovan Mitchell feeling it in the second half, 14 points. Here comes Monte Morris. Monte Morris dribbles around the Joker screen, kicks the ball out to Murray. Murray, 10 seconds on the shot clock, calls for the screen from Millsap, passes it to Millsap, short jumper inside by Morris, but he can't hit. Here comes the Utah Jazz. Donovan Mitchell, top of the key with the ball, off to Joe Ingles. Ingles gets it back to Mitchell. Nice defense by Murray, but better offense by Donovan Mitchell, but he can't score and loses the ball out of bounds. Wow. Donovan Mitchell's trying to do it all, and, that's the second time that was just in and out. Still a nice move by Mitchell. So Monte Morris will bring the ball down. 12-point lead by the Denver Nuggets. Jamal Murray steps back behind the line, shoots the three, but he can't hit. Royce O'Neal comes down with the rebound. Gets it up to Joe Ingles. Back to Royce O'Neal. Royce O'Neal pulls the ball back outside, gives it to Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell has grind on him. Outside on the wing, dribbles around the Conley screen. Donovan Mitchell goes down inside. Murray, good defense. Donovan Mitchell, better offense. Donovan Mitchell, last 8 points for the Utah Jazz. It's down to a 10-point game. 7 minutes, 40 seconds into the third quarter, and Donovan Mitchell is feeling it, guys.
Mitchell is on fire. He's trying to carry this team, but they need somebody other than Mitchell to be able to complement him, because if not, and it's great that the Jazz were able to cut it to 10, but they need somebody to complement him, because if not, they're not going to be able to win this game. He cannot do it on his own, especially in a game 7. So he's going to show up, and he's doing it right now. So they need him right now, but they need somebody else to be able to complement him. And I just don't know who that guy's going to be.
And another thing, too, guys, is I don't know. A lot of people don't understand when you're going on a run and you're trying to come back. As a team, you exert a lot of energy because you have to have high-level energy on the defensive end and the offensive end, because to go on a run and to come back, you have to get stops. So they're exerting a lot of energy trying to bring this score down. And if you look at on the other side, Denver's pretty much cruising. They're missing shots, but they're cruising. They're not working as hard. And that's going to pay dividends in the end. So I agree with Lewis totally. Donovan Mitchell's not going to be able to do it all. Those legs will give out. Those jump shots will start being off in the fourth quarter if they don't help him out.
That's a great point you did. And shout out to Yoshus. Appreciate you coming through. Jay says maybe it's Mike Conley. Yeah, hopefully he's able to provide the offense that he was supposed to bring when they acquired him, especially with that contract.
Hey, Lewis, is it me or does Jay have something against Mike Conley?
Oh, it's not just him.
Yeah.
Not just him. A lot of people in the chat. I mean, the other Jay even said it too, man. Yeah, he's been saying it for a while. Mike Conley is overrated. That's what they were all saying.
I don't really think Mike Conley is overrated. I honestly think Mike Conley is what he is, and people expect too much from him. That's how I look at Mike Conley. I've never really seen him as overrated. I think he is what he is. He's a solid point guard. If you're looking for him to be an all-star point guard, I think that's where the disappointment comes.
Yeah, which is why I said that when you look at Mike Conley's career, I said that he really hasn't lived up to what he possibly could have been, is because I remember some people have said that he was even underrated, but I said no. The reason being is because, like I said before, number one, he's been injury prone. And what you said about the DAE method, durability and availability is eligibility, and he's been injury prone. And then I said number two, and I agree with what you're saying, because he's really just like a solid point guard. He plays in the Western Conference. And I said, with the cream of crop of point guards that are in the West, there's just no way that Mike Conley is going to have to make it. His numbers would have to be in the 24, 25 range, giving you about 6 to 8 assists, and he's going to have to impact the team winning. And that's just not the case with Mike Conley. He's just a solid point guard. To be really honest, and I just felt that he didn't deserve $153 million. That was just too much money.
Way too much.
He's just a solid point guard, man. That's all it is, man. He
Facts,
is what
Freddie.
he is.
Facts, Freddie G. Freddie G said exactly. Conley is what he is. Not a superstar or a star, borderline star at best, but a very solid guard. Exactly. And that's what I've always seen him as. Even when people were trying to make him more, that's what I've seen him as. And I've seen him as that the whole time. And then when the perception of him changed, I was still the same with him. Mike Conley is what he is. All right, guys, so we're back. Nikola Jokic at the top gives it to Murray. Murray over to Monte Morris. Back to Jokic with that high arcing shot off the front of the rim. He can't hit this time, so here's the chance for the Utah Jazz to bring it under 10. Mike Conley gets the ball over to Ingles for 3, and Ingles can't hit. Jamal Murray gets another rebound. Here comes Jamal Murray. And Murray gets the ball ripped. by Mike Conley. Mike Conley smartly slows the ball down, steps back for the three. Bottom of the net, Mike Conley, 7-point lead. So they're back up on the 10th. We're back in the game, the Utah Jazz. 7-point lead, 6 minutes, 58 seconds left. Here's Murray. Murray gets the ball to Joker. Joker over to Monte Morris. Back to Joker for three. And Joker can't hit. And it looks like the Denver Nuggets are going a little cold here. Looks like the Utah Jazz heating up. Joe Ingles drives down into lane, gets it to Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert with a crazy shot, almost like a pass to Paul Millsap. Millsap comes down with the ball, goes right at Gobert, passes it in the corner to Monte Morris for three. Back up to a double-digit lead, 58-48. Take it away, yours.
I don't know why Joe Ingles did not decide to take that layup and pass it to Gobert. That was just not smart because he had an open lane. Anyway, Donovan Mitchell's got the ball. 58-48 is the score. Smash that like, hit that subscribe for both channels. Mitchell passes the ball to Joe Ingles, bounce pass to Mike Conley. Conley shoots another three-pointer, but he can't hit. Rebound is to Jeremy Grant. Then gives the ball to Jamal Murray. The Jazz are on a 12-3 run right now in this third quarter. All right, so Jamal Murray with the ball, dribbles all the way right, gets into the paint, puts up the shot, can't hit. Rebound is to Rudy Gobert, who then gives the ball to Mike Conley. Like I said, the Jazz, it's a mental drain trying to come back, especially in the game 7. Mike Conley dribbles all the way, goes to the three-point line. 12 seconds on the shot clock. All right, Mitchell gives the ball right back to Mike Conley. Let's see what Conley does. He's got Paul Millsap on him. Crosses over again. Drives all the way to the middle, and Paul Millsap gets called for the foul. So good job by Mike Conley not settling for an outside jump shot. He drove to the middle and drew the foul on Paul Millsap. So that was really good. Even though they got to take a shot out of bounds, you might want to start to pile the fouls for the Denver Nuggets. That way it causes the clock to stop, especially with the Nuggets being up right now by 10 points.
All right, so Donovan Mitchell dribbles through the defense, almost loses the ball. Euro step down inside, and Donovan Mitchell is seemingly unstoppable right now. He scores again, 50-58. Here comes Jamal Murray, sending the defense away, dribbles around the Joker screen. Jamal Murray goes inside, loses the ball, get it knocked away. Look like Joe Ingles from behind. So the Denver Nuggets will retain possession of the ball.
Beautiful, beautiful Euro step. And I've been saying this all series long. Donovan Mitchell puts perfect timing on that Euro step when he goes to the basket. All right, Nikola Jokic with the ball, gives it to Jamal Murray. They swing it with Gary Harris to Torrey Craig. Bounces the ball to Jokic. Jokic, free throw line jumper. Woo! Beautiful rainbow swish right there. 60-50 to score. Ingles quickly brings it down the floor, right side of the floor, comes back to the left. Then gives the ball to Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell gets a screen. Mitchell get a one-on-one with Jeremy Grant. Interesting matchup right there. O'Neal sets the screen, gets a switch, and shoots the three on Jamal Murray, but not a good shot by Donovan Mitchell, so it hits the back iron into the hands of Nikola Jokic. Here comes Jokic, then gives the ball to Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray goes to the right side, dribbles to his left, stops in the middle, gives the ball to Torrey Craig, gives it to Joker. Joker with a half step, drives all the way to the basket. He misses. Good defense by Rudy Gobert. I think he kind of traveled a bit. Here comes Joe Ingles. Outlet pass to Royce O'Neal. Shoots a three-pointer, and he drains it. 60-53 is the score with under 4 minutes, just about the 4-minute mark. Take it away, D.
And here comes Jamal Murray. He's going to try to put some points back up. And a block by Rudy Gobert. He'll have none of that inside. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Rudy Gobert taking some deep breaths there, man.
Huffing and puffing.
Yeah, he is huffing and puffing. All right, so Jamal gets the ball into Joker. Joker back to Jamal, and Jamal Murray can't hit. Denver Nuggets finding a problem getting that ball in the hole. Here comes Jordan Clarkson working on Torrey Craig. Goes down inside. Nice defense by Torrey Craig. Get that out of here. Joker bringing the ball down for the Denver Nuggets. Rudy Gobert on the defense. Joker gives the ball to Gary Harris for the long two, and Gary Harris can't hit. Rudy Gobert comes down with the rebound. Here's a chance for the Utah Jazz to bring it to 5 or even 4. Donovan Mitchell with the ball. Jamal Murray on the defense. Here's Donovan Mitchell. Makes the move on Jamal Murray. Floater off the glass.
Oh, wow.
Donovan Mitchell on fire. 55-60. It's a new game, guys. 3 minutes, 10 seconds left in the third quarter. Here comes Jamal Murray for the Denver Nuggets. Jamal Murray thinks about the three, passes it off to Joker. Joker with Gobert on the defense. Joker working on Rudy Gobert. No double team. Spins right around Gobert, but Joker can't score on the layup. And here comes the Utah Jazz. See if they can dig back down into that lead. Joe Ingles with the ball out on the wing. Has Torrey Craig on the defense. Over the top to Donovan Mitchell. Looks like they're trying to find the hot man, Donovan Mitchell, every time down the court. Here's Donovan Mitchell, and he pulls the foul on Gary Harris. And Donovan Mitchell is trying to do it all, guys, but I like the way he's bringing his team back. But trust and believe, this is not going to serve him well going down the stretch. The rest of this team has to do something, man. How much energy does this guy have in Game 7? How much does he have?
And that's a good point. That's a great point, D. And I'm also going to say this also. The Denver Nuggets better be careful, because this reminds me of the second round series they had against the Portland Trail Blazers last year in Game 7 as well. They had a big lead in the first half. Portland slowly chipped away, and they had to exert a lot of energy. Now it's a little bit different because they have more players that could put the ball in the basket. But I'm starting to see kind of the same trend. It's just this time they only have one, which is Donovan Mitchell. But like you also said, the key is going to be how much energy will he have in the fourth quarter if he's doing all this carrying really by himself. And I think Donovan has 15 points in this third quarter, which is great. But the Nuggets are really starting to get sluggish with the shots because they've gone cold. So they're gonna have to really find the spark offensively, man. So I don't know who else can help Donovan Mitchell, but if they can get that maybe from a Joe Ingles or a Mike Conley, maybe if Jordan Clarkson even gets hot in the fourth quarter, which the Jazz are gonna have to hope, maybe, just maybe, the Jazz may have a chance to pull it off if the Nuggets continue to go cold.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, guys. So we got a 60-55 game with 2:39 remaining in the third quarter, man. Salute to everybody in the chat, along with Speaking My Sports Talk and on the Lewis Sports Network. We have, like D was saying, man, we got ourselves a game. Now we're just gonna be interested to see how does this game finish off tonight. But for the Jazz, if they can get somebody to complement Donovan Mitchell tonight, the Jazz may have a chance where he doesn't have to do it all himself. But also, if I'm Donovan Mitchell, I would really be trying to pass that basketball to try to get the ball back. You just don't want to be conserving too much energy just to go one-on-one, because then, as D mentioned, how much is he going to have left? Is he going to have the legs to be able to finish his shots in the fourth quarter? So that's the question we got to ask ourselves. And then with Denver, like I said, I've seen this story before because it happened last year in the second round. So we'll have to see what's going on. Shout out to Anthony L. Appreciate you being here, man. I know how he feels about this whole NBA situation, and I feel you, bro. But appreciate the support as always. Shout out to Sporting Advantage. I know he's from D's channel, man. Appreciate you here. Let's settle with Patrick Beverly, man. He has great defense. Oh, wow. Jay Jefferson's going as far as he'll take Ish Smith over Mike Conley. But it goes back to what D's saying, man. Conley is what he is. That's it. He is what he is. He's not a superstar. He's not an all-star. He's just a good, solid point guard. You know, that's pretty much what he is. I just thought he was not worth $153 million. I just thought that was a lot. But
yeah. Oh, you know, you look at a guy like George Hill over for Milwaukee Bucks. Bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, and I'm not even capping. I'm starting George Hill over Mike Conley, and he doesn't make half the money Conley makes.
Nope. I gotta say this too before we get back to action. It's possible that we might have two new Eastern Conference Finals opponents. Quite possible. Anyway, Donovan Mitchell shoots a three-pointer. I thought that was a little too quick by Mitchell. He tried to cut it to 2. There's plenty of time left. There's no need to go for a home run play like that. Right. Anyway, Martin Morris has got the basketball. 5-point game. Gets a screen from Torrey Craig. Then gives the ball to Nikola Jokic. Jokic from the baseline shoots the jump shot. Nice shot by Jokic, which ends the drought for the Denver Nuggets. 62-55. Take it away, D.
All right, Donovan Mitchell working, driving down into the key, almost loses the ball, and he does. Picked up by Michael Porter Jr. Gets it back to Nikola Jokic. Jokic ahead to Gary Harris. Harris dribbles around Jokic. Harris inside, passes it back out to Michael Porter Jr. 10 seconds on the shot clock, and the Utah Jazz almost gets the steal. Donovan Mitchell dives for the ball out of bounds, can't get a hold of it. So it'll be Denver's ball still. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Great defense. It looks like the Utah Jazz heard us. You got to pick up this defense, and they've answered the call, guys. So inside the Jokic steps back for the three, and Jokic, bottom of the net, back up to a 10-point lead. They had a little drought, but it seems like the Denver Nuggets are starting to come back here. Royce O'Neal with the ball. I'm sorry, that's Mike Conley. Mike Conley passes it inside to Gobert, but we have a loose ball foul.
Now, this is good for the Denver Nuggets. Jokic is starting to take over a little bit, knock down his last two shots, and the Nuggets needed those because if it wasn't for those, man, and he's got 22-11 with 3 assists. So like we said with G-Money, man, again, his thing is about being aggressive, and so far he was aggressive on those last 2 possessions. All right, so Mike Conley going to go to the free throw line to try to get this back down to single digits. Knocks down the first. 65-56 is the score. We got ourselves a 9-point game, man. We're just about to reach the minute mark, man, in this third quarter, man. It's a tight game, and it's a low-scoring game as well. If you guys notice, it's not a high-scoring game before, so defense has really been actually a moniker much more in this game than it has been the other 6 games. Take it away, D. 65-57.
65-57. Joker with the ball at the top. Gets it to Michael Porter Jr. Passes it off to Monte Morris. Monte Morris looking for someone. Finds Michael Porter Jr. at the top of the key. Jr. dribbles down inside. Gets the ball over to Jokic. Jokic for another 3. And Nikola Jokic can't hit. Donovan Mitchell with another rebound. Here comes Donovan Mitchell. 8-point game. Mitchell drives down inside, kicks the ball to Gobert for the dunk and the foul. Rudy Gobert will go to the line. So it's a 6-point game. Rudy Gobert going to see if he can convert on the 3-point play to bring this down to 5 points. 1:02 left in the third quarter. Utah Jazz are not giving up, guys. They're digging in. Donovan Mitchell doing it all right now. Nice pass, feeding Rudy Gobert inside for that easy dunk.
Yeah, nice pass right there by Donovan Mitchell. Look, Donovan Mitchell's really invested in this game, pumping his fist, man, saying that, oh, yeah, got that and one. Like I said, listen, even though Utah struggles to score, Denver really needs to be careful, man, because this is kind of displaying what happened last year in Game 7 against the Blazers. So they need to be careful with that as well. 65-60 is the score. Just under a minute remaining in this third quarter. All right, so Jamal Murray brings the ball up. Gets a screen from Mason Plumlee. Then gives the ball to Michael Porter Jr. Shoots a 3-pointer. He cannot hit. Rebound is to Rudy Gobert. Here come the Jazz. The Jazz can cut it to 3 or 2 on this possession. Let's see what they do here. Let's see what kind of play they run. Donovan Mitchell's got it being guarded by Torrey Craig. All right, Clarkson flashes the screen. Mitchell goes one-on-one. Pump fakes, decides to shoot a 3-pointer, but he can't hit. Donovan Mitchell once again does it, man. He's not being smart right now with the rock. Michael Porter Jr. with the basketball brings it back up on the floor. The Nuggets are letting the Jazz back in the game, man. The Jazz are playing defense, yes, but they're letting them back in the game, but the Jazz are not taking advantage. They need to run plays, pick and screen and roll. I said it at the half. Jamal Murray with the ball. He gives it to Gary Harris. Gary Harris tries to dribble. He shoots the shot. No foul call. He misses the shot. Rebound is to Rudy Gobert. Gives it to Donovan Mitchell. 3.5 seconds left. Jordan Clarkson shoots the shot to end at the buzzer for 3. Oh, and he just hits the tip of the front of the rim. That would have cut it to 2. And he's been struggling in this game. So, guys, Mitchell with 20 points, 8 of 18. Jamal Murray, who's been both of those guys unbelievable. Mitchell picked it up in the third quarter. But Murray struggled. He's only 5 of 14 for 13 points. So at the end of 3, guys, the score is 65-60 in favor of the Nuggets. A 5-point lead heading into the fourth quarter. You're watching Basketball Live with Lewis and D. Smash that like button. Make sure to hit that subscribe button for both channels, man.
Now,
like I said, it's a struggle. Go ahead, D.
No, I just wanted to point something out, guys, and I don't know if anyone has noticed this, but I don't like to see games end when there's some foolery involved. If you guys notice, and I'm not sure if anybody has, Jamal Murray hasn't been the same since Joe Ingles hit him in that leg, man. He's been missing shots. And remember, I said that leg, it's called a jump shot for a reason. If you can't get your legs up under that shot, it's going to cause problems on that shot. He's not been the same since Ingles did that.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I remember what I said. I also remember what I said, D, when Jamal came out in the when he came out to start that third quarter. I said you could still notice him limping. And then what did me and D also say? We said that he should have been taken out at the end of that first half. And Coach Malone let him play with like 44 seconds remaining. And remember, the Nuggets were up comfortably. But now he's kind of being a liability right now because his you need your legs for your jump shot. You need your legs. Now, obviously, it's great to have a follow through because that's mechanic, but you need your legs to be able to shoot the ball because that's where the power comes from to be able to push when you're shooting up in the air. So without that leg, it's going to be hard for him. And it's going to be hard for Murray. So now you're going to have to, if you're the Nuggets, you're going to have to hope that Jokic steps up unless Murray is able to find himself in the fourth quarter because if not, and the fact that it's a 5-point game right now, which is what D mentioned and which is a great point, the foolery with that injury, that might cost the Nuggets. And remember what I said, they're still kind of hanging around too much, for a team that was pretty much in control of this game. But that injury looms large, guys.
What Nugget averaged 18.9 points a game during the 8th seeding games played after the NBA restart? Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say.
It was Michael Porter Jr. because after the restart, if I'm not mistaken, Gary Harris Conley was hurt, and it wasn't Joker. So I'm going to go with Michael Porter Jr.
You was absolutely right. It was Michael Porter Jr. They showed it on the screen. All right, it says the 2019-2020 Nuggets finished with 46-27 record. Where did they rank in the Northwest Division? Oh, they finished first.
First, did they?
Yeah, because they're in the Northwest.
Oh, the Northwest. Okay. Yeah. Trick question. Not trick question, but one you gotta.
I had to read that question carefully, but I was like, yeah. Oh, if this was overall, they finished third.
Right.
Salute. All right, shout out to Godzilla Suplex. Appreciate you guys, man. Go check out Godzilla Suplex on his channel as well, man. Putting us a great time. Shout out to my man Jordan Simpiani. Appreciate you being here as well.
Jordan C, what's up with you, my brother?
I agree with you, Jay. That's a good point. He really needs to have a Dragic approach. Just come at you. All right, take it away, D. Start of the fourth quarter.
All right, Jordan Clarkson with the ball to start this fourth quarter. Clarkson out on the wing, got Michael Porter Jr. on the defense. Gets a little tied up there, almost loses the ball, and he does. Jordan, did they call the foul? Okay, it must have been a foul on the Utah Jazz because they're still walking down the court. But
might be Jordan
Clarkson trying to do a little bit too much right there. All right, so here comes Jamal Murray with the ball. And he gets the ball over to Mason Plumlee. Plumlee gets it to Gary Harris. Gary Harris dribbles down inside, back outside to Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray kicks it to Craig for three. Craig can't hit. So at least Denver needs to stop shooting these threes, man. Work that ball inside. Here comes Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell over the top to Conley for three in the corner. And Conley just missed, but Rudy Gobert with the rebound. Nice defense by Mason Plumlee. Plumlee blocks Rudy Gobert. Here comes Gary Harris. Goes down inside. Gary Harris cannot score and out on, looked like it was out on Royce.
Rudy Gobert did get fouled, and I understand you're frustrated, but you got to get back on defense, man. There's no time to complain.
No, that was clean.
Oh, no, that was clean. That was clean. What was he complaining? Yo, come on, Rudy, please, man. That was clean.
That was a clean, good. That was good by Plumlee. All right, so Murray gets the ball in the Plumlee. Back over to Murray. 10 seconds to shoot. Donovan Mitchell on the defense. Here comes Murray. Murray dribbles down inside. Murray stops on Gobert. And 3 seconds to shoot. Double team. Murray outside of the 3-point line, but he can't hit. Great defense. While the Utah Jazz, they have stepped it up in the second half on the defensive end. A foul on Mason Plumlee. He fouls Rudy Gobert on the rebound.
Look at that. The last 3 games, look at the shooting of these guys in the fourth quarter. 19 for Murray, 15 for Donovan Mitchell, 3-point percentage. Murray's off the charts, 75% and 80% from 3. Mitchell, 52 and 50. Those are great numbers. But I'm wondering how effective
for Murray after that injury. A nice drive by Michael Conley to bring this game down to 3 points, 62 to 65. And here comes Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray gets the ball over to Gary Harris. Gary Harris dribbles, gets the ball out to Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. back to Harris in the corner for 3. Harris can't hit, and another miss. Here comes the Utah Jazz. Can they tie the game? Bring it down to 1. Donovan Mitchell over to Mike Conley. Mike Conley dribbles down, goes down inside. Mike Conley with the wild shot inside, but the putback by Rudy Gobert to bring his game down to 1 point. 64-65. 1 point game, 9 minutes, 53 seconds left in this fourth quarter, and we have a game.
I mean, shout out to Dollar Beer. Appreciate you, man. Unbelievable, man. It's a 1 point game, ladies and gentlemen. The Nuggets were in full control, and I told y'all, this was reminding me of last year against the Blazers. It's just this one's a really low scoring game because now the team's at 70 points. And it's just like what D said. The Nuggets are settling for too many threes right now. And Jamal Murray needs to really try to attack the basket and really pick his spot because he has an injured thigh. And you can see it. So for him to be trying to shoot the threes, he needs to stay away from that. Get yourself going. Get yourself in a rhythm. That's how you were able to do it. That's why your numbers have been impressive. You've done everything in a rhythm. So if you start to fade out and start to struggle in the fourth quarter, that's not a good thing. That's not going to be a good thing.
And you know something else, Lewis? A lot of people used to try to criticize Steph Curry when he was hurt, right? And the way he would defer that ball when he got hurt. But you think about it. If the next team, they still look at you as being a dangerous player. And so what Jamal Murray, I feel like he should do right now is he should utilize that danger to collapse the defense on him and continue to shoot that ball out and find the open guy. He shouldn't try to score. He should just use himself as a threat right now because he can't get off his feet the way he wants to. He's probably not going to be able to get under that jump shot the way he wants to. So he should utilize himself as a danger to collapse that defense and kick out to the open man. That's how Murray should play right now.
So basically,
injury.
So basically, in other words, you feel like Murray needs to be more of a facilitator and actually play decoy to try to collapse the defense so that he could draw attention. That way, those guys will get better shots.
Exactly. That's what he should play. That's how he should play right now. He shouldn't try to do it because your legs won't allow it. You got to be smart with it, man. This is it. It's win or go home right now. So these guys are going to have to figure it out. And if I can sit here and say this, what the hell is going on with the coaching? Hey, guys, wake up.
Yeah, this is why I said that I feel like Mike Malone, for me, I don't like him as a coach, especially with the Denver Nuggets, because the Nuggets did the same thing last year against the Blazers, just like they're doing right now against the Jazz. They're settling for way too many threes, and it happened last year. Because remember, when the Nuggets were playing up-tempo, it favored them. Once they started to slow down, that's when they got themselves into a lot of trouble, especially when they settled in the half court. And that's their problem right now. It's the same thing that happened last year, and it's happening again. They really need to start Mike Malone needs to make adjustments. And if he doesn't do that, the Utah Jazz, if they can find a way to win this game because this is a 1 point game. And the worst part, D, every single game has been in the hundreds, 110s, 120s. This game ain't even at 70 yet, and we're in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. I definitely miss here on the overs. I picked this game to go over, but what a surprise, man. I agree with you here. Only way I reach overs on this game if they go into overtime.
Right. And also,
which is very possible at this point, the way they're playing.
Yep. And right now, Donovan Mitchell is outplaying Jamal Murray. Well, I know why Jamal Murray's getting outplayed, but at the same time, it's what D said. He needs to be a decoy and be a facilitator to get the Nuggets offense going. Because look at that. Donovan Mitchell, see, with the ball in your hands that much, look, he's got 7 turnovers. So he's really going to have to give up that rock a little bit to save some energy for down the stretch. Take it away, D.
All right, Jamal Murray passes the ball to Harris for 3. And there they go, another 3. And now the Utah Jazz has a chance to take the lead off of a missed 3-pointer. So here comes Mike Conley. Mike Conley drives right down into the lane, kicks it outside to Royce O'Neal for 3, but he can't hit. Rudy Gobert fighting for the ball, smacks it outside to Mike Conley. Nice play by Rudy Gobert. Mike Conley with the ball, kicks it over to Ingles. Ingles back to Conley. Conley goes down inside. Conley with the nice move inside, but he cannot get the shot. Torrey Craig comes down with the ball for the Denver Nuggets, slows the ball down. Smart by Torrey Craig. Gets it over to Jamal Murray. Let's see what Jamal Murray does with that ball. He's clearing out the lane. Gets it inside to Nikola Jokic. Jokic, nice pass inside to Harris. Back to Jokic. Jokic drives down inside, right on Rudy Gobert, and blocked from behind. Great defense by Rudy Gobert. Here comes Ingles. Ingles to Royce O'Neal. Royce to Donovan Mitchell out of the corner for 3. But Gobert fighting down inside again for the rebound. Gobert fouled, and he'll go to the line for 2. So the Utah Jazz, they're not going anywhere, guys. They're trying to win this.
Wow, this is crazy. I never would have expected this turnaround.
That's a foul.
Oh, they didn't call it.
No, they didn't. That was a foul. Way with one right there.
Yep.
Rudy
All right,
Gobert.
Knocks down the first free throw, ties the game at 65. All right, guys, national TV schedule tomorrow. Heat and the Bucks, 6:30. OKC and Rockets. Me and D will be doing that one. Get ready for that game 7. I know Karam's going to be ready. And then Thursday, we got the Raptors and the Celtics for game 3. Celtics up 2-0. And we got the Jazz or the Nuggets against the Clippers in game 1, 9 p.m. Thursday. I know me and D will be doing that one. All right. Utah's first lead since 7-5, 66-65. All right. So Murray gives the ball to Jokic. Jokic is trying to give it to Gary Harris, but he's being guarded really well by Mike Conley. Wow, look at Donovan Mitchell fight over that screen, and he's getting Murray one-on-one. So Murray crosses over, tries to get. That's not a good shot by Jamal Murray, and misses. They're going east to west, man. Not enough north to south. Joe Ingles gets the rebound. The Jazz had the momentum. Joe Ingles comes around over Gobert's screen. Beautiful pick and roll action, and Gobert scores plus the foul. And the Jazz go up by 3, and they listen to what I said. Pick and roll. The Nuggets cannot guard the pick and roll, and they score, and the Jazz go up by 3, 68-65. Take it away, D, with Gobert at the free throw line for one more.
I think that Mike Malone, and this would be a shocker, but sometimes coaches got to pull the trigger. Greg Popovich would pull the trigger. Doc Rivers would pull the trigger and sit Jamal Murray. Sit him for about 3 minutes or so. Talk to him. But he cannot win the game. And he's trying to win the game, but he can't do it. So here's Joker, and they called the foul on Rudy Gobert. That'll be his 4th. And here's another thing. Nikola Jokic should start going right at Rudy Gobert. The whole team should start going right at Rudy Gobert because he's a good defender, but he has the propensity to pick up fouls. He's sitting with 4 fouls now. I would be working Rudy Gobert right now. All right, guys, so Torrey Craig with the ball. Torrey Craig passes outside to Jokic. Jokic gives it back to Murray. Great defense. Murray, pull-up jumper, short. Again, Murray can't hit, but Gobert smacks it back out to Torrey Craig. And Murray goes back inside. Murray fouled, no call. Jokic gets the putback. So Jamal Murray was fouled on that play, no call. Got up really gingerly. 1-point game, 68-67. Jamal Murray has to pass that ball. He's trying to do too much. Mike Conley with the ball at the top of the key. Dribbles around the Rudy Gobert screen. Back to Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert. What?
No, stepped out of bounds when Gary Harris intercepted the pass.
That was a quick whistle, bro. They should show the replay.
Let's see if he's still in bounds.
I don't think he caught it out, or they didn't show that, but man.
They got to show that. I got to see that.
Why? They didn't even show it, bro. I don't think he stepped out of bounds. But
well, there's no argument for the Nuggets. Wow, Jazz with four different opportunities, still can't hit. And Jokic with the rebound. Jazz have 4 opportunities to put themselves back up by 3. Jokic with the ball, gives it to Gary Harris.
Where's the
Gary tries
foul,
to
man? What the hell, refs? Sorry, Lewis.
Wow.
What the hell are these refs thinking about? That should have been an instant whistle, bro. That's not what no was no challenge. I don't know what Kenny Smith is talking about. If you watch Joe Ingles, look at his left foot. What the fuck? His feet weren't planted.
And also, if you look at his foot was elevated, nearly pretty much stepping on Gary Harris's foot.
Yeah, Kenny losing his damn mind talking about challenge that call. That's a given. You give a timeout away.
Wow. This is crazy. Yo, that's crazy.
Boy, there is no home court advantage in the bubble, but I hate to say it, but the refs are these whistles are a little bit one-sided right now.
Remember, guys, I like the video. Wow, so Gary Harris only makes 1 out of 2. Game tied at 68. All right, Donovan Mitchell with the ball, spins off of Jamal Murray, gets the ball back. Why are the Jazz not going? Man, Mitchell just dribbling the heck out of the ball, takes a terrible shot and gets blocked. Gobert goes back up, passes it to Royce O'Neal, who has to flick it up. See, Donovan Mitchell
violation.
Donovan Mitchell continues to make dumb plays because he's not sharing the ball. The pick and roll is what's killing the Nuggets right now in this game, and he keeps going one-on-one. Donovan's going to be the reason that they shoot themselves out of the game if he's not careful. Take it away, D.
All right, Torrey Craig with the ball out on the wing. Torrey Craig finds Jamal Murray. And coincidentally, both stars are not playing the way they should be playing right now. Joker with the ball out on the wing. 5 seconds to shoot. Joker works on Rudy Gobert. Passes it inside in a 24-second violation, but Jazz gets the stop. Here comes Mike Conley. He shoots down inside. Mike Conley with the hard layup, but he can't hit. And it's a foul on Jamal Murray. Crashes into Royce O'Neal.
You know what? I hate those kind of fouls because it's just unfortunate that players just end up in the same area. There's really no intent. And I know you got to kind of call it, but it's just kind of tough. Because look right here. He's just going for the ball. And it's just unfortunately they just run into each other. But, it is what it is with that. But they got to call it, so.
Come on, overtime. I don't usually hope for overtime.
D trying to get those over on those point spread.
Over on those points, man.
All right, Royce O'Neal with the basketball, man. Gives it to Rudy Gobert. We got a tie game. Joe Ingles comes around the screen. Oh, beautiful. Nice play. He walked. Wow, I cannot believe they didn't call
that. Oh, my gosh. He took 3 steps.
That was so obvious. Are the refs trying to give the Jazz the game here? What's going on here? That was a clear walk.
Apparently, it seems like they may be. Nice move by Joker on Gobert, and he still gets this shot. Nikola Jokic. Here he comes.
At 70.
And let me tell you guys something. Remember, if Jamal Murray is not feeling it, we've seen it time and time again. They have another guy who can take over the game, and his name is Nikola Jokic. 77. 70 to 70 tie game, guys.
So, like I said before, Nikola Jokic is capable of taking over the game. And what I was telling G Money in the chat, it's how aggressive is he going to be in a close game or just in the fourth quarter in general. But right now, he just made a nice move to tie that game at 70, and they're going to need his play down the stretch because Jamal Murray cannot do it, and you can clearly see how hurt he is because he's forcing up shots.
Right. Chopstick, I don't necessarily agree with that one, buddy. He said Torrey Craig is a useless player. Lance Thomas was better. I can't necessarily agree with that one. Lance Thomas was extremely inconsistent, and sometimes he would turn the ball over entirely too much. With Torrey Craig, you're not looking for him to be an outstanding offensive player, but what he brings to the table is hustle and defense. But he can also shoot that three-point ball when he gets hot. But I think Torrey Craig, if you're looking at him to be an offensive player, then, he may seem somewhat useless to you. But it's the intangibles that Torrey Craig brings to this team. And he does those well.
I'm sorry. Torrey Craig is a better offensive player than Lance Thomas, a better overall player too. Lance Thomas frustrated the hell out of me when he was with the Knicks. I couldn't wait to get rid of him. He was spoken so highly of.
With Lance Thomas, man.
He was spoken so highly of, and every single time there were times he looked very tentative, he looked very timid, he looked very scared to make a play, and then sometimes he would let guys drive, and I'm like, where's this great defense that we get talked about from Lance Thomas? And offensively, he was horrible. So
and when we talk about the defensive side, it's no comparison, bro. Torrey Craig is a much better defender than Lance Thomas was.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, man. So, like I said, no disrespect to Lance Thomas, nothing personal, but just as a basketball player, I hate to say it. Now he is in the league, so that means he's got something. But it's just, I just never thought he was good, especially with what he did for the Knicks. I thought he would give us some value, but he really didn't do anything. Of that nature.
He definitely left a bad taste in my mouth after that trip. You can't come to my team playing like that.
Oh man! All right, guys.
You already got James Dolan. We don't need you coming in there playing like that.
For real, we don't need a trickle down effect from ownership all the way down to the players, man. When it just comes to bad taste, man. So, guys, we got 5:20 remaining in this game, man. Would you believe it's a 77 game, 70 to 70 game? This is a 90s type score right now. When you're looking at this is not. These are two, and in this era, everybody pretty much scores over 100 points. And these are two of the more high-scoring teams in the league. But it's 70-70. So you've seen some good defense from both teams, some bad offense as well. That's just not a good shot, what they just showed, right? That was actually good defense by Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell's kind of huffing and puffing a little bit. So it's like I said, man. Who can be the scorer for the Jazz to give him enough energy to pretty much bring this home? Is it going to end like that? We don't know.
I will say this. Rudy Gobert is stepping up his energy and his intensity. So let's keep an eye on him as well. Here comes Mike Conley with the ball. We're back in action, guys. Mike Conley steps back for the three-pointer. Mike Conley can't hit. Torrey Craig will come down with the rebound. Hands the ball off to Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray gets the ball over to Jokic. Back to Torrey Craig. Torrey Craig gives it to Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant to Jokic. Jokic thinks about the jump shot. Working on Rudy Gobert. No double team. Backs Rudy down. Passes it inside to Torrey Craig. Torrey Craig puts it up for the quick layup. Nice move by Torrey Craig. Don't mess around. Get that ball up in there. Denver back on top by 2. Mike Conley with the ball out on the wing. Has Torrey Craig on the defense. Mike Conley calls for the Gobert screen. Dribbles around the Gobert screen. Mike Conley brings the ball back outside. 10 seconds to shoot. Passes it off to Ingles. Ingles goes down inside. Pump fakes. Ingles puts the ball up right over Jeremy Grant for the score. Tie game. 72-72. Go at it, Luce.
Go at it. Definitely will. Gonna take it right at these guys. All right, with the commentary. Jamal Murray with the ball gets a Nikola Jokic screen, and Jokic is starting to show up in the clutch right now. He just shoots a nice little floater and gets the bounce. 74-72 Denver. They go back up by 2. Let's see what the Jazz do. He's got 28 points and 13 rebounds, but he does have 5 fouls. So if I'm the Jazz, I go right. And Donovan Mitchell turns it over to Jamal Murray. Big turnover. And Murray kicks it out to a wide open Gary Harris for 3, but he can't hit. Gets his own rebound. Kicks it out to Jamal Murray. He shoots the 3, but he can't hit. Just like how we talked about, rebound Rudy Gobert. So Jazz got fortunate on those 2 plays right there. 74-72 is the score. Here comes Joe Ingles. Jamal Murray is 5 of 19. Rudy Gobert, wow, looked like he almost traveled right there. The ball's given to Mitchell. Mitchell decides to take a pull-up jump shot. Not a good shot by Mitchell. He's just taking some really terrible shots, man. Not good shot selection. All right, man. So Jamal Murray, brings the ball up again. It's a 2-point game. Comes off the screen, brings the ball back. So he's got a Joe Ingles switch. He gets switched with Rudy Gobert. Wow, Ingles was able to stay with him on the screen. Jokic shoots a 3-pointer, but he can't hit. It was short. Take it away, D.
All right, so here comes Donovan Mitchell. He'll drive down in the lane. Donovan Mitchell, Euro step again. And Donovan Mitchell hits inside. Tie game again. Donovan Mitchell is not letting up. The man keeps going like the Energizer Bunny. Jamal Murray straight down off the glass, and Jamal Murray scores. Okay, it seems like it's about to be a Jamal Murray Donovan Mitchell show. Here we go, 76-74. 2 minutes, 20 seconds left in this game. Mike Conley with the ball. Torrey Craig on the defense. Presses up on him real tight. Here comes Mike Conley. Goes around the Gobert screen. And that's not a kick. All these referees are trying to keep Utah Jazz in the game. Listen, guys, when you throw a ball at a guy's foot, that's not a kickball. Joker didn't stick his foot out or anything. Donovan Mitchell tried to squeeze that pass in and he hit Joker's foot. That should have been a turnover. Okay, Mike Conley with the ball. Mike Conley double team. Pulls back. Mike Conley loses the ball, and it's going to be Denver's ball. Another turnover by the Utah Jazz, and now it's not the time to be turning the ball over, guys. 2 minutes left in this game. 2-point lead. Joker will bring the ball up, not Jamal Murray. I think that's a smart choice. Joker gives the ball back to Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray holding the ball. I don't like this. Got to move the ball. Get it down inside. 9 seconds to shoot. Jamal Murray drives down into the lane. Right on Rudy Gobert for the score. Jamal Murray starting to feel it. 78-74. 4-point game. Under 2 minutes. Here comes Mike Conley. Mike Conley with Torrey Craig on the defense. Mike Conley dribbles around the Royce O'Neal screen. Back to Royce O'Neal. Give and go. Royce O'Neal drives to the cup for the lane for the layup. Take it away, Lewis.
All right, 78-76 is the score. Under 1 minute and a half remaining in this crucial Game 7, fourth quarter. Here comes Nikola Jokic. Dumps the ball to Jeremy Grant. Jeremy on the post up by Conley. He can't find anybody. Then gives it to Jamal Murray. Then gives it to Nikola Jokic. Jokic gives the ball back to Murray. Murray dribbles. Murray dribbles around the screen. He faces a double team. Goes around. Takes a – he tried to pass it and turned it over. Wait, Jeremy Grant, we got to fight for it, and it's a 24-second violation. Excellent Utah defense. And Jamal Murray making some crucial mistakes down the stretch. I mean, him and Donovan Mitchell have both made some crucial mistakes down the stretch right now. It's the reason why this game is close. Would you happen to think that we've seen great defense from both teams, but the star players for both teams are making some really bad decisions, which is why neither team has been able to pull away right now. So we got a 78-76 game with 1:08 remaining. The Jazz with the ball, and they got a chance to tie this game, folks.
I want to put some of the heat on Nikola Jokic too, because that Jamal Murray's hurt, and you keep dishing the ball off to him. You got 3 other players on the court, Joker, and you can handle that ball. So I don't think it's a need for him to keep handing that ball off to your hurt guy like that. So I don't know, man. They're gonna have to figure this out. Donovan Mitchell going down inside, trying to do it all. Gives it back to Mike Conley. Mike Conley over to Royce O'Neal. Royce O'Neal fakes. Back to Mike Conley. 5 seconds to shoot. Mike Conley short in the line. And Rudy Gobert for the dunk. Tie game again.
Wait, what just happened? Hold on, because it was pointing at something. The game is tied at 78 with 47.5 seconds. So it looks like there was a timeout, but they were pointing at something when it happened.
Well, what they were pointing at is they may have passed the ball in bounds before the timeout, which means they won't get the opportunity to advance
it. Yeah.
Right. Wow, man. Big mistakes. Big mistakes being made here, guys.
And again, guys, didn't I tell you what happened with the Denver Nuggets in Game 7 last year against the Portland Trailblazers? You're seeing it again in this game. Now, if they pull it off, it's not going to matter. But you're starting to notice again, if the Nuggets lose this game, it's going to be deja vu, just like what happened in the second round last year. So, man, this is crazy, man. We got a tie game.
And you have players on the court. You have superstar players and so forth. You have the players that you expect to get it done. But a lot of times, guys, especially in the playoffs, the end of these games come down to coaching. And, we can blame players for making mistakes, but that's why you have coaching. You have coaches in there like, hey, guys, let's not keep the ball in Jamal's hands so much. Let's move the ball around. Let's find the open shot. This is something the coach should be telling these guys over in the huddle. Whatever play you're designing, Mike Malone, it shouldn't be having Jamal Murray as the main ball control. You know, you got a guy who can control the ball, who's 7 foot tall. He can hold the ball up over everyone if he needs to, and pass it that way as well. So maybe you should think about having Joker control that ball, because who controlled the ball when Jamal Murray wasn't in the game? Nikola Jokic.
Right.
This
And
is
shout out
coaching,
to
guys.
Yeah, shout out to Henry Curry. Appreciate you coming through. He says, great game. Absolutely, man. And again, smash the like, hit that subscribe for both channels, guys. All right, so Jamal Murray with the basketball. We're tied at 78. Jamal Murray being guarded by Royce O'Neal. Let's see what he does. Jamal Murray comes off the screen, doesn't get the switch he wants, gives it to Jokic, being guarded by Rudy Gobert. He needs to go at him. Here he is, Jokic in the post. He can't find anybody. Goes with the long hook, and he knocks it down to give the Denver Nuggets a 2-point lead with 27.8 seconds remaining. Here comes Mike Conley. Let's see what the Jazz can do. See if they could tie this game. That's a big play. And they Quinn Sanders decides to call a timeout with 22.6 seconds remaining. And like D just said, they let Jokic go to work, and Jokic delivered right there with that hook shot. I thought that hook shot was going to be short, but it got enough arc, good footwork, and just got enough spin on it just to score that basket. That's a huge basket. Huge basket for the Denver Nuggets.
And I'll tell you guys something, and I've said this plenty times before. I'm no coach. I wouldn't even fool anyone to say I could be a coach, because there's a lot more to coaching than what fans complain about during the game. It's a whole lot more. You got to build teams. You got to put them together, you know. But an offensive coordinator, I don't know. I might have a shot at that, because or at least a nagging ass fan behind the coach, like, hey, what the hell are you doing? Get the ball into Joker's hand. Something like that, man.
Hey guys, shout out to Neseto Magdales. He says, go Nuggets. All right, so we got a Nuggets fan in the building. Again, guys, like the video, also subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys coming through. We got a 2-point game. 80-78 is the score, man. That's crazy. You guys are still battling about John Wall. Listen, man, John Wall is a talented point guard, but that dude is overrated. He's overrated. He stagnates the offense, and he's not a good jump shooter. And he's already been in the league for 10 years.
Guess what, Lewis?
What's up?
The Washington Wizards had 2 of them, and one happened right after the other, because Gilbert Arenas was the same story, and then they picked up John Wall.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Listen, I like Gilbert Arenas, man. All right, man. So we got back, and so we got another timeout. That was actually good defense by the Nuggets, because Royce O'Neal could not find anybody, and he forced the Jazz to burn a timeout. So that was
the final timeout, which is significant.
Yeah. Ron says, D, you can only Mike D'Antoni, all he is an offensive coordinator, which is what he can be. Yeah, that's my problem. But the thing is, let me say this, Ron. In order for you to be an offensive coordinator, don't you think you would have enough plays in your playbook to be an offensive coordinator? Because that's what an offensive coordinator does. You have a playbook. D'Antoni's playbook is shoot threes. If your point guard is able to do pick and roll, but they don't even really do that anymore. Especially with the Houston Rockets with their play. And like I said, Daryl Morey has too much influence on what the Rockets want to do, which is why I said if the Rockets lose tomorrow, they need to fire Mike D'Antoni and they need to fire Daryl Morey. Because
and they need to trade James Harden.
Well, I mean, this is a tough call. Do you trade him or do you trade Russ? Because they traded CP3. Look what he's doing with the OKC Thunder. So now, do you trade Westbrook or do you trade James Harden? So D is putting out the gauntlet. He said trade James Harden. What would you do?
I hate to say it, and I know it sounds tough. You get rid of him. You know why? Because he has a lot of stock. He will fit into other teams. You can get a lot for James Harden. Go ahead and keep Russell Westbrook. Build up again. But James Harden not going to get it done for you. After you fire Mike D'Antoni for his foolery, you get rid of James Harden too, because he's not the guy that's gonna do it in the end for you. And okay, we're back, guys. We gotta talk about this one. Here comes Donovan Mitchell. And Gary Harris steps up, and Donovan Mitchell turns the ball over. It is over. It is over. I missed the layup. It's not over. Go there.
Oh, it's over.
Mike Conley misses it. Oh, man, what a
Man.
barn burner game at the end. Son of a bitch, it didn't go to overtime. I needed those points. Wow, guys, what a way to end the game. I know Donovan Mitchell, right now, pardon my French, but Donovan Mitchell feels like stir-fried shit right now for turning that ball over. And much respect by Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray went over there, picked him up off the ground and said, bro, you gave it everything you had. That's good sportsmanship. Both of these young guys really put it on the line in this series. You know, let's expect to see a lot from these two young guys. And remember, at the end of that game, and Ingles and Jamal Murray hug it up, you know, he probably whispered in their ear, you son of a bitch, I know what you tried to do to me, but we still won.
D, I gotta tell you, man, that was one heck of a finish to that basketball game. That was one heck of a finish. I hate it for the fact that Mitchell didn't even get a chance to get a shot up. Give the Nuggets a lot of credit with that heads-up play, forcing him to turn the ball over because he was going way too fast.
Oh,
he had to go. And Mike Conley almost won the game.
Did you see that shot, man? That was in and out.
It was in and out. It was in and out.
Oh, wow. What a game. And then check this out too, guys. It shouldn't even have been that close because Jeremy Grant blew the layup at the other end, which he didn't even really have to take that layup. Pull the ball back out. You have 4 seconds left. Either they have to foul you or they got to let the time run out. So he didn't even have to take that tough layup. He could have pulled the ball back down. But, you know, lucky for them, it worked out for them.
Oh, man, that's crazy, man. And check this out, guys. The Nuggets had no business being down 3-1 to the Jazz, but the Jazz blew a 3-1 lead, and they lose the series in 7. It was a great game. The Jazz had a chance to win. Unfortunately, the ball did not bounce their way, and they lose this one in a nail-biting 90s-type basketball game with the 90s score, 80-78. And also, let me just say this. The Los Angeles Clippers are in trouble. They're going to be in a little bit of trouble. I'm not going to say complete trouble, but a little bit. And the only way that they can be is like this. Nikola Jokic stepped up when he needed to in the fourth quarter. He made some big baskets when the Nuggets were struggling to score. And he made that big hook shot to put him up by 2 in a tie game. If Nikola Jokic can repeat this when Jamal Murray struggles, the problem is against the Clippers, they're going to have to be balanced. I don't think one guy can beat the Clippers unless they're that unstoppable. So they're going to have to do it as a team against the Clippers because they have their superstar in Kawhi Leonard who could take over a game. And you don't have to worry about Kawhi Leonard when it comes to taking over a game. But with the Nuggets, they're going to have to do it collectively. And Murray and Jokic, to me, they're going to have to be playing well at the same time to beat this team. Because unlike the Jazz, the Clippers have the defenders they can throw at Murray. There's a difference. There is a difference with that.
Stevie DeRosa, what's good with you, my brother? Appreciate you sliding through. Yeah, man. What a game. What a game. I do think that the Denver Nuggets, they made that game a little more difficult than they needed to. You know, you up by 17, 18 points. And it's, you know, Lewis, it's funny that we find ourselves saying this often in this league. This is a 3-point shooting league, guys. And they live and die by the 3. A lot of teams, they will live and die by that 3. Because when you got an 18-point lead, in my opinion, and you see a team dig that thing back under 10 points, you stop jacking up those threes. You go to the you go through to the lane, you pull the fouls. You know what I mean? Remember what the Clippers did to in game 3, I believe it was, to the Dallas Mavericks. They got them all in foul trouble. You know, they didn't keep jacking up those threes. They kept driving to the lane. And then they had 3 guys with 5 fouls at the end of that game. Kristaps Porzingis ended up fouling out. And they end up winning that game. That's what you do when you have an 18, 19-point lead and you see this team starting to feel it. You start taking it to the rack. You start pulling up the fouls. You slow them down Because if you keep trying to go tit for tat and you're missing, then you're keeping all of those guys nice, hot, and in rhythm because they keep getting to go back down the court and putting that ball up. You have to stop jacking up these threes when it's not working for you. And this is not a problem with a single team around the league. This is something that Lewis and I often hear ourselves saying in these games.
Here's the thing also. The Nuggets are going to give the Clippers some problems, but I think the Clippers are going to ultimately win, as well as what everybody was saying in the chat. And I just looked at the playoff seedings in terms of the matchups. This is why I think the Houston Rockets, they're going to win Game 7 for this reason. I just think when it comes to ratings-wise and you look at the matchups, the Lakers-Rockets sounds a lot sexier than the Lakers-Thunder, unless the league is looking at it as we want to give the Lakers as much rest as possible, so we'll have the Thunder upset the Rockets, but which is why I think the Rockets are going to win Game 7. You just got to look at it from this aspect. With the amount of money that the league has lost, you know that they're going to want those matchups for the ratings. So the more ratings, it just boosts, it just boosts it because you got the Clippers and the Nuggets, and then you have the Lakers and the Rockets. Those sound like great matchups because the league wants to see Lakers, Clippers, Western Conference Finals. They want to see it. And
now, who does the Clippers play next? And you know what? What Lewis is saying here makes a whole lot of sense. Now, who does the Clippers play next?
They got the Nuggets on Thursday, D.
They play the Nuggets next. You guys think about this. And Lewis and I were just saying this. Are the referees trying to give the Jazz a game? You know why? This starts to make sense now based on what Lewis just said. Because if the Jazz go up against the Clippers, it's a sure enough 5-series game. But Denver brings a little more of a threat. And what do they want? They want the Clippers to move on because that's that value. That's what everybody wants to see. So it may have been that the referees may have been down with Silver's plan. Like, let's get them out of there. But guess what? It didn't work. The Denver Nuggets was too resilient. No cigar.
And this is why I also said that if your team is intelligent enough, and Ron had mentioned this before, shout out to Arnis, man. Appreciate you. I mentioned this before. Sometimes the whistles could go against you in terms of how referees are trying to determine this game sometimes, especially when they're looking at one team and you're looking at style, you're looking at talent. But look at it this way. If your team is good enough to play through bad calls at some point in the game, it's going to be hard for those referees to pretty much ignore you and try to put every single call against you, especially if you're intelligent enough to play through bad calls. Like we can see it on the screen and they're like, oh, yo, that's a bad call. Like we know that was a bad call. And we saw some of it like in this game. But like D said, the resilience of the Nuggets, because it looked like the Jazz were trying to get that game. They were trying to give the Jazz a game. But the resilience of the Nuggets is what pulled through. And again, when you look at the matchups, it's what is best for business. And what's best for the NBA is the Clippers going up against the Denver Nuggets. If the Utah Jazz were there, they were going to try to make this Donovan Mitchell versus Kawhi Leonard, but it's like Kawhi's got a great team behind them compared to what the Jazz have. Whereas the Nuggets, they're deep, they're loaded, they got bigs, they're talented. You got Jokic, you got Murray, you got Gary Harris, you got Michael Porter Jr. That's a talented team you got over there going up against the depth of the Clippers. And the Nuggets, when at full strength, are a very deep team. So at the end of the day, this is all about, again, it's about the matchups and what the NBA wants you to see. And that's why it just makes more prudent sense when you put the cards right to make sure that it's the Nuggets against the Clippers. Now, tomorrow's game is going to say something. This is why I said I picked the Rockets, because OKC, it's in terms of offense, and the NBA loves points. And so you got the star power, James Harden and Russell Westbrook going up against LeBron and Anthony Davis. Whereas if the Thunder go, it's CP3 and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, young player, going up against LeBron and AD. Now, it depends on where the league wants to go. Either they're going to want the Lakers to have an easier time, or they let the Rockets win to get that star versus star matchup, dynamic duo for what? For ratings, to kind of make up for that revenue. And that's why I said I think the Rockets are going to win tomorrow night for that reason.
Yeah. And when we talk about the Lakers, yes, you know the narrative that I didn't like, though, is what the league was trying to do so that LeBron James could win. I never really liked that narrative. And, you know, he knows his sports was the first one that I heard consistently pushing this narrative. I think I heard it come out, somebody from the mainstream might have hinted toward it. But here's the thing with that. I don't agree that billionaire. You guys remember when LeBron James took a shot at Donald Trump? You remember what Donald Trump's response was? Donald Trump's response was, tell LeBron James to play basketball and shut up. That's what billionaires think about LeBron James. I mean, I'm being serious here. So let's think about what the league is comprised of. Billionaire owners. They all own their teams. And individually, I don't think they give a rat's ass about LeBron James. You understand what I'm saying? It's about making the money, keeping this league going, keeping the league driving in revenue, because that benefits all of these billionaire owners. So I don't think it was necessarily about LeBron James, because then all of the other owners that comprise the NBA would have had to been in cahoots for that. And why would they be in cahoots for a team that they pretty much hate? Let's keep it real. The league hates the Lakers, right? So why would the other owners be in cahoots for the Lakers? It makes no sense. So this thing with what Lewis is saying makes more sense about the networks and the marquee matchups. But to say that they're trying to do everything that's so that LeBron James wins another ring, I never really agreed with that narrative.
I understand what you're saying, but I think what this more so is connected to is really more so with Adam Silver more than anything, more than the owners. Because in one part, I do agree with you because, again, you're talking about 30 owners in the NBA, and obviously each of them want, their team to win. And a lot of these guys, they don't like the Lakers. Just look, for example, when Chris Paul was supposed to be traded to the Lakers, all of the owners went up against that. And so CP3 ended up going to the Clippers instead of the Lakers, which was the original thing. So they didn't want the Lakers to get another star player so that would give Kobe a chance to win maybe one and maybe possibly even two more championships that they were allowed to build. So I don't think they're doing that from that aspect in terms of LeBron, but I think this really more is connecting with Adam Silver in terms of with the way that he's doing. But
yeah, I agree with that too, because remember, even with the Anthony Davis, let's fast forward because we remember the Chris Paul situation, but let's fast forward. Look at all of the fucking look at all of the heat the league on the other teams put up with the Anthony Davis going to the Lakers. They won't having it. Greg Popovich don't usually speak up. He spoke up about it. They tried everything they could to stop that. You understand what I'm saying? These other teams, they tried everything they could to stop that. Those guys unite. So they're not like it would make Silver's job 3 times harder if it was a LeBron James narrative. If he does what he does concerning the Lakers and that franchise, the Lakers as a team, yes, it's going to benefit LeBron. But I don't think, again, man, if they even got an inkling that Silver was doing this for LeBron, these owners would shut that shit down. And let's remember, they're the ones that determine whether that motherfucker keeps his job or not. You know what I mean? It's these owners that will determine whether he keeps that job. They can replace him with another commissioner. So Silver can go but so far with this. He can go but so far with it.
And I mean, the thing is, though, we have to also understand something, though. There was kind of like I want to say there was kind of like a little Cinderella fairy, or if we want to say Tinkerbell or a Thumbelina type of situation. And what I mean by that is David Griffin was the former GM of the Cavaliers. The minute he took over for the New Orleans Pelicans and became basketball president of operations, it was supposedly said that he was going to do everything he can to keep AD, but his mind was made up. And I had mentioned about, remember, AD is a client of Clutch Sports. So I said, yeah, it's only a matter of time before Anthony Davis gets traded and becomes a Laker. It's just a matter of when was it going to happen. And the minute that David Griffin came over there, they end up trading Anthony Davis, and then they obviously traded for those young players. So that's kind of how that happened. So that was under operation in terms of that. But to answer you guys' question in the chat in terms of the East versus the West, I'm going to say this one. I'm going to say this again. The East has gotten stronger, but it's still the weaker conference over the West. And I said this in the beginning of the season, and I'm sticking with it. The Western Conference will win the NBA championship?
Ah, man, that's still well for me. That's kind of tough for me because I see a power shift, and I think it's going to be complete next year. You remember I started talking about this last season, Lewis, when we was in the playoffs last season. I started talking about this power shift, and I still actually see a power shift happening because you look at the last 3 seasons before this one. There's 1 or 2 teams we could talk about in the East. Period. Just 1 or 2. Was nothing else. 1 or 2 teams you could talk about. And it was always 5 or 6 teams to talk about in the West. Now, in this playoff, it ended up when we started 4-4, basically 4 teams to talk about from the West and 4 to talk about from the East. With these trades, with the free agency next year, and with the way these young players look on the East Coast, I think we're going to see a power shift next season. And God knows Kevin Durant, DeAndre Jordan, and Kyrie Irving are going to return to that Brooklyn Nets team that made the playoffs and battled. Now they're going to have those 3 guys coming back. I think we're going to see a power shift next season. I'm going to stick to that.
Well, we got some other questions too. Where does Victor Oladipo go? Because the Pacers are trying to trade him. They just fired Nate McMillan. And then also with the Philadelphia 76ers, who do you trade? Do you trade Ben Simmons or do you trade Joel Embiid? Because they might have to break that team up a bit. So
Simmons, and that's where Oladipo goes. They should start talking to Philly right now. Simmons is a better fit in Indiana, and Oladipo is a better fit in Philly right off the back. I'll tell you that. That's a perfect trade.
All right. Shout out to OAB Bolty, man. Appreciate you. He says, I'm so mad. Why didn't we pass? And he says Mitchell was wide open. Yeah, but I think Mitchell wasn't mad about the fact that he was wide open. He was more mad of the fact that he turned the ball over when they were down 2. I think that's what he was really much more mad about. And if you look at Conley's shot spun in and out. He had a great look. That ball goes in. Donovan Mitchell is celebrating in joy instead of being upset and on the ground. I thought Donovan was going to cry. And I got to give him – and the thing is, I think he's just crying more so because he really cared. He really cared, and he really wanted to advance. Unfortunately, though, the Jazz did not do the things that got them the 3-1 series lead. The Nuggets started to get a little bit healthy. I mean, Gary Harris came back. He played some good defense. His offense wasn't there, but he played some good defense. It sucks because now in less than 48 hours, they got to play the Clippers, and you have to wonder how long will it take. And it's going to take a while before Gary Harris gets back into basketball shape. Also, Jamal Murray's not going to get the same looks against the Jazz like he did against the Clippers. The Clippers, for me, it's really going to be more so on complacency, urgency, and focus. If they're doing those 3 things, the Nuggets are going to have a hard time in this series against them. And also, it's because Paul George obviously has to step up, but it's like they got to deal with Kawhi Leonard. And Kawhi Leonard is a much more consistent player than Donovan Mitchell, despite the fact that Donovan Mitchell pretty much did ball out in this series. With the exception of Game 7, even though he played well in that 3rd quarter. But
Lewis, I got a question. Oh, I thought you were finished.
No, I was finished.
I got a question for you from over here. Chopstick, my man Chopstick. He says, best center in the league, the Joker, baby. And then I was like, facts, because I like the Joker too. I would say between the Joker and Embiid, and Chopsticks responded with, I like Cat too. He could be the best center moving forward. So what do you think about those 3?
You said Jokic, Embiid, and Karl Anthony Towns? Okay.
Right. We feel like Jokic is the best now. And I said between Jokic and Embiid, but Chopstick says he feel like Cat could become that guy. What do you think about these 3 guys? I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
No, and it's a good question by Chopstick, and here's how I feel about it. Jokic, to me, has the best overall skill set, but his problem is he's not aggressive down the stretch. That's my issue with Jokic. But he did do a better job tonight, right here, in a low-scoring game. He gave him a big 30 points, and he hit some big baskets when the Nuggets were struggling to score. So that's a start. So his issue really more is scoring aggressively down the stretch. Now with Joel Embiid, he's the total package. His problem is his maturity. And like you clearly saw it, it's his issue has always been maturity, not being mature enough when things don't go his way. He doesn't really show the best leadership neither. So that's Embiid's problem. Again, I always call him the Hakeem Olajuwon prototype, but again, his issue is just maturity. Also his weight, and also he's injury prone. Remember what D's talked about: durability, availability is eligibility, and Embiid's problem his whole career has been health. So that's another thing. Karl Anthony Towns, he's not a good defender, even though he started to show signs of playing good defense. I think he focuses on the offensive end a little too much. And then also his attitude is where I question Karl Anthony Towns. Can he get there? It's going to depend on Karl Anthony Towns' attitude for the rest of his career. He's got to want to be the best if he's going to be the best center in the league. Between all three, and the crazy part is all three of those guys, probably Joel Embiid for me probably has the best case just because of his overall talent, and he's the best defender of the three players. But his issue is maturity. Jokic, when it comes to all-around game as a big man, probably the best out of those three. His issue is being aggressive down the stretch, and his defense is not that great. And then Karl Anthony Towns is really much more. It's just pretty much his attitude. That's going to be the key. So he has to become better to me defensively and just his attitude for the game, because sometimes his attitude tends to fade. Like he doesn't play like he's interested. So that's an issue for Karl Anthony Towns. But I think if Karl Anthony Towns and Joel Embiid, if they improve their maturity and their attitude towards their game, Jokic might probably be a tier below those guys, because then it's like their play is going to have to lead to winning, because at the very least with Jokic, I think his game right now compared to those three leads to more winning than Karl Anthony Towns and Joel Embiid. So that's where I'm kind of at in terms of those three centers.
All right, so Mark over here. What's up, Mark? Appreciate you sliding through right quick. I have to disagree a little bit, Mark, and then I'll get Lewis's opinion on it. He may actually agree with you. I'm not sure. But Mark says, I think the Clippers will smash the Nuggets. He said he thought that the Jazz would be more competition. Now, I will say this. I don't think so, Mark. And I wrote this to Mark. I said, I actually feel Denver is the better matchup. Clippers have to do much more defensively for Denver than for the Jazz. The Jazz, they have to lock down Donovan Mitchell. The Denver Nuggets have more depth, and we just at the end of this game, going into the fourth quarter, I said if Jamal Murray falls, Joker is able to take over that game. So when you got two guys like that, you can't just lock down one guy. If you lock down Donovan Mitchell, you pretty much take the Jazz out of their element right now. They don't have enough depth. So I think a team like that going up against a defensively responsible team in the Clippers, I feel like Denver Nuggets with their depth and the different guys that can score, that would be more of a challenge for the Clippers defensively, because they're a defensive team. What do you think, Lewis?
The thing is that the Utah Jazz, in my personal opinion, there's no Bogdanovich, so at least you would have to worry about two scores. But even with Bogdanovich in there, again, they don't present the problems to the Clippers like the Nuggets do, because the Nuggets bring more versatility than the Jazz do. So you have to really be careful. If their guards were healthy, you're talking about Will Barton, who could score the hell out the rock and is a good defender. Gary Harris can score the basketball and is a good defender when Gary Harris is healthy and right. Then you obviously have one of the best big men in the league in Jokic, who is going to be a problem for Zubac because Jokic is a very skilled player, skilled center. And then Jamal Murray, what he just showed you in this series, his ability to take over the game and score the basketball. Now, what I agree with D is that he needs to me, become a facilitator and kind of be a decoy. That way, kind of picks his spots offensively. But the Nuggets are very deep. They got Jeremy Grant, can stretch the floor with his three-point shot and defend. Paul Millsap, still a veteran, but is another big man. Then you add Mason Plumlee off the bench. You have PJ Dozier, a talented kid who doesn't get a lot of minutes, but he can score off the bench. You got Monte Morris, who's a very good point guard. This Nuggets team is deep. They're so versatile and so deep that that when you look at how the Clippers are going to have to defend them, it's a lot different than compared with Utah. All they got to really do is key in on Mitchell and make somebody else beat you. Or what they could do is stay home with everybody else and let Mitchell go one-on-one all the time. So so it's more predictable with the Jazz compared to Denver. Denver has a lot of weapons, and they're one of the higher scoring teams in the league. So the game plan for Denver is going to be so much different compared to Utah.
And they don't have a facilitator on their team like a Nikola Jokic. Mike Conley can dish that ball, but he don't find players like Nikola Jokic. That passing ability by Nikola Jokic is point guardage, but he's a fucking center, fam. You understand? Like, and then so Mark says, I think Gobert would have been a problem to the Clippers on both ends of the court. Here's the thing. He would have been a problem to the Clippers on the defensive end of the court. But let me tell you something about the offensive end of the court. Look at the centers of the league and the job that the Clippers have done on those guys who are much more offensively efficient than Rudy Gobert. Think about the Joel Embiid. And although he's not a center, think about what they did to Giannis Antetokounmpo. You know, what they're able to do. They locked down Joker in the game they play. Although Jamal Murray wasn't playing, still, they were able to do a job on Jokic. The thing is, Mark, is Montrezl Harrell plays a lot bigger than he is. And I always say this because he has gorilla arms. Yes, he's only 6'8", but his wingspan and, you know, the way he can reach up, snag rebounds, get in there for the blocks, his wingspan at 6'8" gives him the presence of a guy that's about 6'11". So he plays well against these taller guys. And collectively, as a defensive unit, you have Patrick Beverley all around the place, digging his hands in there on the passes, smacking balls away. And then you have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. I don't think Rudy Gobert offensively would have been that type of terror that you're going to have with Joker. And plus you lose that element of being able to facilitate the ball like Joker does. So, you know, again, I just would have to go with Denver, fam.
All right, and just real quick before we close out the show, and again, salute to everybody who was able to pull out, man. The live was lit. We had a great game. Very close game, 90s basketball as well, in terms of the score. But Jermaine was basically talking about Giannis when he was saying that people are talking about the jump shot, but he doesn't even really have a back to the basket post game, like really either. And I would agree with that, only because of the fact is when you look at Giannis and when you look at a lot of his post ups, Giannis is really looking to dunk the basketball or spin off. He doesn't really have a skill set to go to when he is in the post, which is not a good thing for a guy of his size, which is something that I think he needs to work on in the offseason, is try to really develop a skill set in the post and really try to have yourself a go-to move. Because the thing is, the best part about a post player is if they take away something for you as a defensive player, you're able to counter that with another move. That's why it's important to be a skilled player, whether you're a perimeter or post player, because you can go to something when somebody takes something away. That's like the mark of a great offensive player, whether you're a perimeter player or a post player. Like, it's about skill. Like, that's why they always say, you know, the game is mental, obviously, mostly mental, but that skill takes you like such a long way. And as dominant as you could be, it's good to have a little bit of finesse game too. Go ahead, D.
Yeah. Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. I want to say this, and I was looking at the Bucks, and Giannis. People talk about what Giannis needs to do, and I agree with that, to improve himself as a player, to make him more dangerous, and to spread that floor for the Bucks. Yeah, he does need to develop a jump shot. But I'm gonna tell you guys something. I think that the key to these guys winning, and it may sound crazy, is actually Chris Middleton and George Hill. Not their starting point guard, Eric Bledsoe. It's George Hill coming off of that bench and Chris Middleton. When those two guys perform, they win. And I think they're the key, because when they perform, they automatically spread the floor, which allows Giannis to get in there. Because when these guys get hot, look how they was locking down. They were double teaming Chris Middleton last night, right? And they did a good job at Giannis down there in the hole. Especially, I called the unders for Giannis on the prediction show, under 31 points, because I figured they would keep him under that. But when George Hill and Chris Middleton get alive, they win. George Hill he fell asleep last night. Chris Middleton was alive. Giannis almost nearly got a triple-double. Had George Hill waking up like he was supposed to, I think they win that game. So I think the key for the Milwaukee Bucks is George Hill and Chris Middleton has to perform for those guys to win. Giannis is going to be Giannis. He's going to be that danger. But those guys need to step it up for the Milwaukee Bucks to win.
All right, man, and those are really key points. The Bucks, yeah, they definitely look suspect, and this is why I said that this is danger zone for the Bucks and for the Raptors, because the two teams that met in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, they are slightly different in terms of their makeup, mostly similar, but just a little bit different. No Kawhi, no Danny Green for the Raptors, no Malcolm Brogdon for the Bucks. We may be seeing, and I know it was only one. I know the Celtics are up 2-0 right now on Toronto, and the Bucks are down 1-0 to the Heat. I'm telling you this right now, guys. We may possibly see a Miami Heat versus Boston Celtics Eastern Conference Finals. Do not rule that out the window. It is very, very possible, because I told y'all that these four teams are all in the top 10 in defensive category, in all defensive categories. 4 top 10 defenses in the Eastern Conference going up against each other, which is what D was mentioning, that you're starting to see a small paradigm shift in the Eastern Conference, which is you're seeing slightly more teams now. And remember, Brooklyn is going to be a force next year, as D mentioned. We have to see what the Pacers look like, but that's another team. So you include those teams. I don't know what's going to go on with Philly and some of the other teams in the East, but if all those teams were healthy, you were probably looking at 6, possibly 7, even possibly 7 good teams in the Eastern Conference, which really would have been something different to see in terms of how they match up against the West. Shout out to Nothing But Net.
What was that matchup, Lewis?
Which one?
The ones you said for the finals?
I said for the Eastern Conference Finals, I said we possibly might see Miami against Boston. I said only
Eastern
because
Conference Finals.
I said with how shaky the Bucks and the Raptors have looked, especially in this case Toronto, because of the first 2 games. But anyway, guys, make sure you continue to subscribe to the channel for both Speak Your Mind Sports Talk and Lewis Sports Network. This was a lot of fun. I truly appreciate you guys.
Hey, Lewis, real quick, Mark said, imagine asking Marcus Morris for an autograph, and he crushes your brand new white, fresh Air Force Ones while signing. Yeah, let me tell y'all something. That's funny, Mark. I don't know if you guys know this, but those Morris twins have some big-ass feet, bro, for their size. Look down at those guys' shoes. They got some big-ass feet. That's pretty funny, man. I noticed that a long time ago about those Morris twins. They do got some big-ass feet.
Yeah, that's the truth. That is true.
So, all right, everybody over here on Speak Your Mind Sports Talk, Lewis and I appreciate you guys joining us for Basketball Live with Lewis and D. But, hey, make sure y'all share the streams. Let everybody know, because it's not over. We rocking out until the fat lady sings. We want to rock out with you guys until that trophy comes. So y'all know how I always in this thing. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. Peace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Pookie Doo, who just came in. Appreciate you. He says, I don't know what you meant by that part, but again, guys, continue to like the video, subscribe, and continue to share the videos from the Lewis Sports Network to the Godfather Jefferson. As my man Ryan always says, we chat together, we stream together, we are family for life. Shout out to Kid Glory, man, wherever you are, man. I hope everything is good with you. Also to Layla. I know I haven't seen her in a while, but hopefully she is good as well. Appreciate you guys, all of you, man, from the Lewis Sports Network to the Godfather Jefferson. I'll speak your mind. Yes, sir.
Before you shut out, we just had a few people slide in here. Pookie Doo, what's up? Yeah. We appreciate you. My man, Arnis Godinas, where you been at, brother? We appreciate you sliding through at the end and Nothing But Net. Appreciate you guys, man.
Oh yeah, Nothing But Net as well, which is I had just mentioned them, and I didn't even see Arnis come in. But again, salute to you guys as well, man. No, yeah, Giannis didn't look like Giannis in game 1. The Heat did, like I told y'all, man, the Heat have the defensive principles again to really give Giannis problems. they're not going to give him all those easy dunks. And the fact that Middleton played well the entire game except for the second half, that's another bad sign too, because if Giannis struggles but Middleton can't score points when they need him, if the game is close, that's why it's a problem, which is why D said that Middleton's going to have to step up, obviously. And then you say George Hill. Middleton, for me, it's really more so when they need him. It not only has to be consistent, but it's got to be in the fourth quarter, because you know that they're going to take away Giannis's drives. So we got to keep that in mind. And which is why I said that Giannis also really needs to work on his post skills to really make him more dominant, because he'll draw more attention, which will give guys open looks, you know, from the mid-range and from the three-point line. But Giannis has got to work on that. That's on him. Anyway, guys, bless up. Live, laugh, love. Thank you guys for being a part of the stream. And you guys already know, as I always say on the Lewis Sports Network, and I'm gone.
In the lead. That's skied out to center field. Towering shot. A.J. Pollock going back. That is gone. Big fly for Mike Trout. 2-0 Angels here in the first. Going back to getting a mistake. Breaking ball. Got it. Trout. Dead center field.
And he's going to run. He cuts back at the one time for the goal line. Touchdown, Eli Manning.
On second and 4. Manning takes off. He's inside the 5 to the end zone. Dive. Touchdown.
Away 1-on-2 behind the back. Switch throw. Oh, what a pass to Anderson.
Hardaway. Oh, beautiful dish. Grant with the jam.
The elevation now. Michael's had 2 shots blocked tonight. Penny Hardaway goes up, makes the move. He sees Horace coming. Here it is. Horace up.